There's always a hope. Rise and fight.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. StarCraft enjoyers to the Bombastic StarCraft League. This is the round of 16 now, and top 2 will advance. We got DeWalt, Zhanhun, JayStar, and Razz in today's groups.
Yeah, we do, and I hope you guys are ready for it. Today is gonna be a great day if you're a big fan of P. And let me tell you, I love P. You know, a P in the morning, P in the evening, P at any time. When P is on a bagel, you can have P anytime. I hope you guys are ready for it, because, man, it is a lot of P today.
It is a lot of P. And you just made me realize that ProLeague has the color of P. I've never thought of that before, but they did.
Yeah, it is the race of P enjoyers, so I do hope that we have a lot of P enjoyers in the chat. You know, R. Kelly, tune in, because it is time.
All right. Yeah, a lot of P. Obviously, maps, not as big of a balance concern. You know, Protoss traditionally has been the race that suffers the most from having bad maps. You know, they really need maps that are okay for them, so you can get that Forge FE and stuff like that. Of course, not really a concern now, and the map pool is balanced enough as it is. Anyway.
It is actually funny that you say that, because my friend G5 is also a giant P enjoyer, and he tells me that it's kind of like, for most matchups, it's like, is it a bad map for Protoss, or can I win this game? Like,
definitely a lot of wiggle room, but I mean, some of the maps we've had throughout the history of this game, it's been an uphill struggle, you know, to get that P out.
Yeah, for real. Well, based on the portraits, though, who do you think is going to win? Yeah, you know, John Hoon looks pretty intimidating in the very bold, beautiful red here. But I have to say, Razz looks like he's actually killed people before. Don't you think?
Yeah. Like John Hoon, he goes to the what's that martial art they practice in China? It's like their version of Muay Thai, but the main kick is like the side kick. It's called like, I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's basically like Muay Thai. It's a stand-up martial.
Yeah.
And he looks like he practices that, you know, but Razz, he practices, you know, it's
he looks like he owns a gun, you know?
Exactly, yeah. He practices it's time to pay up, you know?
Yeah, exactly, so, oh, man. Yeah, Razz looking very intimidating, but we're going to be heading to Odyssey here, and based on the matchup, I think a Protoss will probably win here, just the intuition that I have.
Probably, yeah. Now, an interesting thing about this map is, like, if you get contained, I mean, you could take the indoor expansion, theoretically. Of course, once Reavers are on the map, that opens up. But...
Yeah, I was going to say, it is difficult for Protoss, though, because they do have to get fairly high up on the tech tree before they're able to get that splash damage that allows them to knock down the Xel'Naga temples. But it is kind of a neat map, because as you said, it does offer a little bit of strategy that you normally see you know, a lot of times you'll have like the Protoss contain outside of your natural expansion, and it's just like what you do from there. You try to get, you know, some cheeky drops off or something like that to kind of dig your way out of kind of the hole that you're in. But in this, you know, scenario, you're right. You can definitely potentially try to get yourself a third base here that you get, you know, that you can macro your way out of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, it looks like we should be ready to go into the game any moment now.
Yeah, let's head on in.
Okay. So Red Razz playing as the Red Protoss in the top right.
How appropriate. And in, of course, the bottom left-hand corner, starting as the blue Protoss, we have Mr. John Hoon himself.
All right. Now we've been seeing a lot of tube gate for some reason in this matchup. Do you think the Inside Expo makes tube gate better or worse, or not changed at all in any way?
Well, I would assume, and as a player who is terrible at StarCraft, I would assume that the early momentum from a 2-gate might make it, you know, still a pretty nice option for you. Because if you get ahead in the early game, you know, you're able to get your third base quicker. You're able to climb the tech tree a little bit faster, that type of thing. Especially our higher level Protosses also seem to really favor that aggression, getting an early tempo, and just trying to get kind of like a step up on the opponent very, very quickly. So I don't think it's going to really provide too much in the way of like a fallback plan for a player who's behind.
Right. Yeah, if you fall behind on technology, you can't really defend your semi-island, you know? So I think 2-gate's probably about the same on this map. Maybe there's some intricacy with the build that a Gosu Protoss knows that I don't, but... anyway, we see Razz scouting the inside of his main, so he's scared of some cheese, apparently.
I think that's a pretty fair call. These Chinese players have shown themselves to be not afraid of, like, to really use any kind of strategy. And PvP is a matchup that can end super fast if you don't see something coming. And I also feel like Razz, or at least I feel, and Razz may or may have a different opinion than I, but he may be kind of the, I'd say, underdog in this early matchup here. John Hoon has shown to be like a premier level player. And while Razz is quite an excellent player, I don't know if he's like quite at the level of like DeWalt and Bonnet and players like that. So he may be just trying to be really cautious so that way he can make sure he gets to like a more stable mid game. Really nice control on the ramp here though, doesn't let the probe in, even though he was behind on the HP for a second. So John Hoon's still completely blind, and that scout not really paying off too well for him.
Yeah, that was some clutch micro there when he was going to lose the 1v1 fight, actually bringing in a second probe and keeping the blockage going. But I wonder if he's going to do a crazy build here. Like, is he going to skip range or something? You know, he's going to go like one base double robo. That's actually a build people do sometimes. Or is it just to make the opponent worried?
That would be pretty sweet to see. Although, one of the saddest things in all of StarCraft, I think, is Dragoon without range, man. Because, man, are they terrible units without range.
Yeah, they are not very strong. Definitely a core. Okay, looks like he's gearing up to build a robo here, so this is probably going to be a very fast robo. Or Citadel, I suppose. We're going to see in a moment. Zhanhun going for a more standard build. Robotics before range, yeah. Okay. Still a lot that this could lead to. He could go double robo, he could go for like a fast expansion to his island, because it's essentially safe before the opponent gets shut off in reavers, right?
Yeah.
So like that will be a way to expand without needing to have range while getting really fast reavers, but we'll see what he has planned. I like that he's got something planned for this map at least.
There we go. Okay. Man, sorry about that. I was, it's been a while since I've been much of a caster, and man, let me tell you, I just had to figure out how to turn the music down because it was literally blasting my head down.
Yeah, it does that. So essentially mirrored build orders, except Zhanhun got range, and Razz did not.
Yeah.
Second gateway going down for Zhanhun, so we're probably going to see really fast shuttle speed and like a really fast drop here. from Razz. Still hasn't gotten range. That's a bit crazy. Like, he's probably gonna end up getting shuttle speed before Dragoon range.
There it is. Well, as you said, shuttle is like a really, really helpful unit on this map, especially if you're going to be rushing to get those Reavers up in time. John Hoon doing kind of like the standard safe route, getting his Observer and everything like that, so he won't have a Reaver right away to bust down the Xel'Naga temples. So as a nice fallback plan, I mean, you can just drop a probe right there and get your natural started without having to defend below your ramp, and then still continue to do your aggression across the map here. So it is pretty interesting. I would like to know how this goes. I wonder if John Hoon has made any considerations into that. I'm not sure how much the Chinese players play within their own meta on like the maps that we use for BSL, so it could be interesting. Really nice that Razz, as you said, has put some real thought into the strategy that he's going to be putting in for this game.
Like, this build order is always okay, but it's even better on this map, because one of its weaknesses is that you might get contained on the ground. But we do have the first drop here, and it looks like he's adding 2 gateways in his main, Razz. So it's going to be, and now he's getting Dragoon range, yeah. So this is a build some people have been doing for a while, you know, on and off. It never took the meta game by storm, but it's always been like a build you can go for, which is 1 base, really fast shuttle speed, triple gateway. And if the opponent tries to contain you, and then it gets dropped in the main, it can turn really ugly really fast.
Ooh, okay. There we go. I was a little worried. I saw the shuttle pathing like kind of like right over the natural. I was hoping that we didn't get this this Reaver caught right here.
Yeah, interesting to me that he's choosing to go in through the natural, and oh my days, looks like Zhanhun senses something.
What a... Huh. What an interesting timing on the change of the position there.
I think it's because he just entered the opponent's base with an observer, and he saw the robotic support bay, and he was like, alright.
Yeah, where is everything? Wow, that was crazy. If Razz had just pulled the trigger as soon as the shuttle had arrived, he could have done potentially catastrophic damage, but like the half a second that the observer got to check out the main, like you said, and notice that, hey, there's no Reaver here, there's no shuttle here, what is going on? All of a sudden, he gets all the alarm bells going off and pulls back into the main.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could have gone in. I know he was waiting for shuttle speed for a while, but he just didn't want to risk it. Now, he still has a play here, which is basically you siege the front and you pick off units, especially if you can pick off the enemy observer. You have a massive advantage in this regard, but you pick off dragoons, you know, and then you can always threaten to go into the main from that position. So it's a very dominant position, although you do need to get something done because you have triple gateway and no expansion behind it.
Yeah, he certainly has the timing here. He's got the extra Reaver right now. Also, there is a larger Dragoon count. He's got like an extra Zealot or whatever as well that he can throw at the front here. As Zero's pointing out right now, there's like 4 Dragoons or something like that right now in the main. Oh, does get his Observer shut down though. That is a little unfortunate, but a lot of these Dragoons have to filter down now through from the main. But man, John Hoon with a really, really nice initial spread on the Dragoons and getting a really clean fight here. The shuttle having to micro these Reavers back. These Reaver Scarabs now really having a hard time getting to the front line. And wow, John Hoon's Dragoon's doing an excellent job breaking through this.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be holding. 1 Reaver still left for Razz though, but the shuttle not. If the shuttle were still here, he would be in a very dominant position. But the second Reaver coming down for Zhanhun now, and yeah, like that position I was talking about, like you can definitely do stuff from it, but time is running out, and Razz just maybe rushing in a little too fast. Like, I know you gotta make something happen because time isn't on your side, but you also have to be patient. It's a little bit like a Terran push. You know, like if the opponent sends everything into the natural, then maybe you drop the main, you know?
It's kind of unfortunate that Razz had to micro his Reavers back initially, as not getting those like 2 initial Reaver Scarabs at the very beginning of the fight really made him take a lot of extra damage there. And John Hoon, like with a really, really clean hold now in a spectacular position as his Nexus is already ready to start receiving minerals.
And he's actually gonna sneak out here and cut off reinforcements, and Razz doesn't see this yet. Now he knows, but his units are divided.
Oh no, pathing issues, free Dragoon too. Oh! He's gonna make it out. He's got his pinky toe still operational. crawling out on the one toe. He's gonna get out of here. Oh man, this is a pretty rough spot here. Look at John Hoon now setting up his pylons to make sure he's not getting dropped in the back door while his P, streams out across the map.
Yeah, and his bladder is a lot more full than his opponent's right now. It's looking like
Exactly.
good ambush attempt, but not quite getting it on the shuttle.
Oh, nice little pick off there for the one Dragoon, always pick up. It's so funny because like the basic units for this matchup are also expensive. Like you use like one Dragoon, you're like, what the?
Yeah, I know.
There's no Zerglings, there's no Marines here. Yeah, it's all just really expensive units.
Well, do you think he can catch one more unit here? That'd be sick, actually. He's cutting off the units. He might.
Oh man. Or does he get collapsed on? That's the real question. Who's in this situation? Do you want to cut the middle? Who knows?
Yeah, I guess
It's very scary.
It's, I mean, I think you gotta cause some chaos and then just fly into the main and get like a massive Reaver drop off. Like that's the play here, I think, because you have to come back. I mean, you're economically behind. He's trying to do it right now.
Ooh.
Zhanhun ready though with 2 Dragoons.
Yeah, the gate's just not rallied, so
Yeah.
they're just sitting there waiting.
That possibly he got rewarded for having bad macro, maybe, but
I don't know. I have to assume that was intentional.
it actually could be intentional, really, because they were in a good spot for that, So you might as well
John
skip the
Hoon
APM.
Protoss here, man. This ain't no CPL gameplay.
Yeah, you're right. This is he's definitely a strong player. Wouldn't surprise me if he advanced from this group. Pushing forward now again. Looks like he's not really investing in economy. He wants to make something happen from what he has now. So he's not getting temper tech. We might be seeing like a diversion here and a drop at the same time. Yeah, which is scouted. But did he see it? Yes, he did.
Oh, it's so scary when the probes go like that. Ooh, this is a really expensive drop here, and that is not the healthiest shuttle.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the probes.
Oh my god, what a shot.
And he gets away. Massive.
That is crazy. Yeah, the shuttle even survives with a Reaver in it, which is insane. Like, if the shuttle just gets out, you're usually like, okay, cool, this is nice, because I can just keep making Reavers. I don't need to make another shuttle, but wow. And just like that, man, Razz down almost 20 workers. Not so good, That's enough for, like, like 2 or 3 Starbucks is...
Yeah, it's not so good. It's not so good.
You won't have to pay them benefits, because they can work part-time.
Here's the shuttle here, though. Might get caught. Okay, good reaction. But yeah, I mean, time is really running out here for Razz. Like, he is economically behind, and Zhanhun, the one who's ahead, is the one who got the harassment off, which is what Razz needed to do.
Perhaps John Hoon is just being a nice guy and showing Razz, hey, this is how you should attack me. Okay.
Zhanhun's counterattacking now in the natural.
Yeah, this is crazy. Razz is getting run all around this map constantly.
He's keeping up admirably in that he's always pulling probes, but like,
ooh, this is not the position that you want your Reavers. Oh my god, what just happened?
Wow.
Did that Reaver hit the air? I felt like two Dragoons died, both Reavers died, and the shuttle died, all in like one...
Yeah.
all in like the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was really unfortunate. But Razz really did. He really did have to make something happen, because the longer the game was going to go, the further he was going to get behind. He got his economy just absolutely destroyed by that one Scarab. John Hoon continued to harass him back at his natural expansion while he was working his way across the map. Very unfortunate start for Razz overall, but he definitely showed like he had like a really good game plan. I think it just came down to the fact that attack at the front didn't go the way that he wanted after his drop got kind of kind of discovered as the observer came into the main and saw that there was like no Reaver. So a very unfortunate game for him. I think if Razz had just pulled the trigger as soon as that shuttle was ready to go, and just kind of like went into the main and dropped it instantly, we might have seen a completely different game. But all things being equal, it looked like fortune was on John Hoon's side a bit there for that first one.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely played well, but if Razz had chosen to come in through the main instead, even pulling those dragoons back may not have worked, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunate, but that's the way of mirror matchups sometimes, dude. It's like, very commonly, it's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds make like the whole difference between who wins and who loses. And we're kind of at that point in the BSL brackets now, where it's like the best of the best players that are still left in the tournament. So you're gonna have to bring your A game here.
Yeah, but I want to see what Razz has planned in the second game, because that was like, he played from behind, but he definitely had a sharpness to his play, you know? Like, he was always ready with the pro pulls and so on.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, he's a very clean player. Razz doesn't really... I mean, he's always playing the game, so he's never kind of like out of shape and looking bad. I always see them playing pretty well. It's just gonna be like when you get to this level, it's like, are you really, do you have the talent? Do you have like the crazy micro? Do you have like the 1 to 2 second additional timing because you've been, you know, like mineral boosting and stuff like, it's like all these like tiny little things that add up to the big advantages that you see in like the mid and end late game. So it's just like, is he super sharp on everything right now? Looks pretty good, but just unfortunately those things didn't seem to work out for him today. I'll be heading to Sylphid now, another good map. Unfortunately, no hidden base to try to dig yourself out of a grave with a shuttle or something like that. But a map that I think everyone's pretty dang familiar for. It's been in the rotation for quite a long time now.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, let's head into the game whenever, I guess.
Let's go ahead and do it.
Okay, so he did choose Sylphid, which of course is a rampless map, making 3-gate builds, maybe a little stronger. And he did go for a 3-gate build of a sort last game, not really like... Well, he didn't spam dragoons, to be honest, last game, but we know he likes to be aggressive. He might have something planned about that. I'm not sure. Also a good map for speed shuttles in general, of course.
Yeah, lots of angles for them to come in that very... it's kind of like 360 surrounded, not 360, but there's like a large
Yosemite
angle.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, surrounded by like open air for them to come in. So yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. I would like to see 2 gates though, because I swear to God, like every PvP that I have casted this season so far has just been like 1 gate handshakes into Robo, and I just really want to see some spice in this. I want to see a Manor Pylon, you know?
Yeah. Not a bad map for 2-gate, maybe. I mean, there is no ramp, so it's a little bit easier to force your way in, perhaps. But, you know, if you're not a 2-gate guy in PvP, you're just not a 2-gate guy, and it's not a style everyone's comfortable playing.
So I wish that was the case in ZVZ, man. But if you're not a Zergling guy in ZVZ,
What are you gonna do?
Not a guy. You're just a dead body for all of the mean ladder Zergs to beat you up.
That is true. ZVZ definitely a very limiting mashup, and you just gotta do it. Like, I quit it because I switched to Terran because of ZVZ. You know, I just couldn't do it.
I complain to Nyokin all the time, and he just says, play Terran, that's how you win ZVZ! I'm just like, oh god.
I mean, it's always an option to switch race. Zhanhun, by the way, okay, look at this. Zhanhun isn't even scouting, he wants the extra cash. Razz scouts the middle first, and scouts early. That's how confident the Chinese Protoss here is.
That's a power move. I'd be a little terrified, honestly. It was that one I was like, you don't even want to scout me? Oh Jesus. Am I in the right place right now? Like, did I wander into somewhere where I'm not supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, oh, we have a second probe going out, so I don't know what that's about. It's gonna proxy temp effect, maybe? That
would be pretty cheeky. Where's it going though? It's kind of just hovering in the middle of the map right now. Doesn't seem to be heading to like a sneaky proxy position. Well, here it goes. Now it's heading over to like where John Hoon's like weird third would be across that bridge.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, this seems to be a reasonable proxy location if he does decide to go for it.
He's getting range first because he knows the opponent will get into his base and scout that, so he has to do it. And the pylon goes down.
The funny thing about this level of play, though, it's like people are counting pylons, stuff like that. So, like, if there is a proxy happening, your opponent will kind of know. But the question is, where is it, and can you get out on the map to see what it is before it happens?
Yeah, but like, oh, it's gonna be okay. This is actually a build people are doing a lot at one point in the metagame.
Ooh.
Proxy Mass Dragoon, and it's good on rampless maps, right? Because the opponent obviously can't hide on the high ground.
Exactly. So he's going to be going for a contain at the natural then with an excess amount of goons here. But as Zero is pointing out, Citadel is down and chugging along here for John Hoon, and without a robo, this 3-gate mass goon is not going to be super effective, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I don't know. Like when you play a gamble, like he who lives by the gamble dies by the gamble, right? There are safer builds you can choose, but he might die by the gamble here. Now, John Hoon might be predicting that mass Dragoon builds are popular on a map like this, and he might be going into a counter to that, possibly.
This would be interesting to be on the back foot against a Dark Templar build. Looks like John Hoon is checking out, looking for proxies, looking for any information he might be able to glean before he heads on into the natural expansion. But generally, you know, he hasn't seen anything really that Razz is up his sleeve. Ooh. Templar tech is now down. The DT is going to be ready. Question is that, like, is there a timing that this DT gets across the map and like 3 or 4 goons get into the main here? Or is just Razz completely screwed? Because even getting an expansion down, if the DT gets across to the natural and you can't put the pylon and the forge down, you're pretty boned here.
Yeah, it's so he's gonna see him now.
I'm not at the perfect time.
Oh, but look at the Dragoon counter here. The Dragoons from Zhanhun are there to, in case a cannon is making, cancel the cannon, right?
Oh my god.
There isn't even a cannon, of course, so he just wins the base trade, but yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, if you can't see the unit, you cannot kill the unit, generally speaking.
He actually made a forge.
Yeah.
When he saw DTs, but the Dragoon counterattack just shut it down.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate turn of events for best of 3, having your second game being kind of just like it landed on tails. But you know, when you play the coin flip build a little bit here, you're gonna go lose it every once in a while. I think it's an admirable decision you know what I think it is? It's like an experienced tournament player's decision to be like, you know what, I'm down 1 in a best of 3. I'm going to go for something that might get me back into this really easily. If it doesn't, it's like, hey, you know, we tried. But it's, you know, it was certainly a gamble. Razz knew it going into it. And it just, as you said, live by the gamble, die by the gamble. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for you.
Yeah, I gotta say, though, I'm impressed with that counterattack, because when you do a builder like this, you're really looking for, okay, am I winning too hard? And as soon as you are, you make the forge, right?
Yeah.
And the Dragoon counterattack really shut that down. Like, he may even have had cannons in time otherwise.
Yeah, it was actually interesting. Like, because as you said, if he hadn't been on the other side of the map, there is a scenario where he's taking some time to deal with the Dragoons on his side of the map. Then he walks over, and by the time there's like 3-4 cannons at the natural expansion, Razz has already got his natural up. John Hoon is just now putting down his forge and his DTs, or his forge, his nexus. His DTs really aren't doing too much, and Razz has a really nice economic lead going into the mid game. But unfortunately, that didn't happen for him, and Razz is going to head down to the elimination match.
Right, so next group, it's gonna have DeWalt in it, or next matchup, I should say. So DeWalt against JayStar.
Do I hear boss music? DeWalt?
Yeah, maybe you
Where
do.
are you?
It's possible.
I just hear like the Elden Ring music right now, because dude, DeWalt is like the final boss of Protoss. Like between him If we could just if we could just get like a gamete from DeWalt and from Bonnet, we could create the ultimate being in Foreigner StarCraft. No one would ever win. People would start watching League of Legends because it'd be the most boring thing ever. No one would ever get to see anything, you know. It'd just be pure Protoss. I mean, it's already kind of like that. But what if we combined them? You know what I mean?
You know, people talked about that with Beast and Stork. They were like, oh man, like Protoss. If only Beast and Stork could merge into Bork, we would finally have the ultimate PvT and the ultimate PvZ at the same time.
But yeah, man, DeWalt has been terrifying, and particularly terrifying in PvP. He's so reliable. He's great with the shuttles. He seems to have every box ticked in PvP, and it really only, like, really the only Protoss that I feel like can ever stand up to him is Bonnet, and it's all because Bonnet has what seems to be literally like miracle shuttles. They just seem to go in and find like 40 probes that are just chilling. They fire off a scarab, it blows up every time. Like, so I don't know. Like, JayStar is a great player, but I don't put him up in the pantheon of players that can like deal with DeWalt and Bonnet. So we'll have to see. This is the titan of the group, in my personal opinion.
Sure,
but he does have 3 games, and if JayStar plays creatively, if he takes some gambles, perhaps he finds himself a way into the next part of the bracket.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I am looking forward to it though. We need to get into this P-sling, man. I don't know what it is though, dude. I have to say, why is it always Protoss? We need more of the other races.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously Protoss outside of Korea, easy race and so on. But did you know that there was a time when Zerg dominated the foreign scene, and the top 3 foreigners were all Zerg users?
Yeah, you know, I have been told. But where is that time? Because
but it is not this day. Yeah. It is not this day. That is true. Protoss came back.
Yeah, it's like our other, like in our Terrans too. Even like we have some great Terrans, but it's like it's like 85% of the scene always feels like it's like all Protoss, and it's like 2 Terrans and 2 Zergs like desperately trying to make it so not every one of these games are mirror matchups.
Yeah, now to be fair, the Chinese are also a bunch of Protoss users.
Yeah, man.
Even more than we are, I think, right? Like they have Thingzy and Rushgoon, and that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah, we need you guys, even if you're just mediocre. You know, you put the time in. Man. We need more Terrans. We need more Protosses. Okay, I did my best. Okay, I tried. All right, I barely made it to C. I put in too much time. It's clearly not gonna be me. But we need like one of those like talented 14-year-olds to come out of the woodworks or something and help us out. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Anyway, Odyssey first map. So let's see what they got planned here. Okay, JayStar. That's the blue Protoss at the top right. Positions don't really matter in this matchup, on this map.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I think if you spawn in the bottom left corner here as the red Protoss, you're probably at somewhat of an advantage. Mostly, though, just because that means you're DeWalt. Not so much based on the positions, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder if JayStar like knows about DeWalt, you know, like if they know anything at all about the non-Korean, non-Chinese scene, or if it's just like it's a Tuesday, you know.
I mean, they have certainly played versus this guy before, you know, and it doesn't take me too long to run into, like, if I ran into a brick wall, I'd probably figure out that there's a brick wall there pretty quick. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think he knows? Your opponent also. Always good. I
have to say, like, he truly is like impassable terrain. You know what I mean? He is such a monster at these tournaments. They have to at least be like, okay, it's this fucking guy again.
Basically, you're gonna notice, is what you're saying. Yeah.
He wakes up, he looks at the bracket, and he's like, oh, God. God damn it! Makes the second cup of coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, we do have that 2 gate, by the way. So, no, sorry. I was looking at the minimap, and it looked like a gateway, but we don't. We don't have a 2 gate. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that other building is, but I see probes come out of it a lot, and they come out with like an upgrade where they're carrying like a green box. I don't know if that makes them stronger or.
Yeah, that's. I guess it's like weed or spinach or something for the executor. In the
Oh,
mixer.
dude, spinach. They're like Popeye. They just come out all swole. They've got giant biceps all of a sudden.
You know, how do you think Zealots get so big? Anyway,
Yeah,
DeWalt was earlier scout. A very early scout, actually. A bit surprising to me. So I wonder what he's looking for here. Like, 'cause
Man,
obviously,
there's
if you don't
pylons.
need to find anything early, you don't want to scout. Unless
Man,
there's something
that-
you need.
Let's do it. Trap 5 probes.
Good
Trap 10
pylons.
probes. Trap his whole probe line.
He's doing some harassment right now. Might go for mana pilot now since he has the money? No, he does not. Okay. But yeah, I have to wonder why he's scouting so early if he's not gonna mana pilot, right? Like, I don't.
He may just be under the assumption that JayStar is going to do something kind of funky. JayStar is one of our older players, and I think he has, if I remember correctly, and it's been a while, but I do remember him being kind of one of those players that you do have to keep an eye on a little bit more.
Yeah.
As far as build orders go, he's willing to do more unconventional stuff that you haven't seen in quite a while.
The Wolf might be onto something because he's getting +1 air weapons. Now, of course, the Wolf doesn't know that, but the mentality, the character analysis was definitely there.
Yeah, he certainly. It's just like when you're playing against players that are willing to do something weird. You kind of just.
Whoa.
It always in the back of your mind there.
Is he gonna go scouts?
I mean, what else could? I mean, it's not like he's got overlords to harass, so.
I mean, okay, it's the second gas now. Now the scout, it's good against shuttles, you know. It's like a better wraith, but it's not really good against dragoons.
Yeah, well, especially since it costs basically 2 dragoons, and it's got what feels like potato guns built in.
Yeah,
they
it
just kind of
costs-
like bounce
yeah.
off.
It
everything
loses
at the
to
same
2
time.
dragoon. It loses to 1 dragoon, and it costs 2.
Yeah.
So, but
And
yeah, I don't know.
it takes, like 2.5 weeks to build. It feels like. Oh my
Speaking.
god, he's not even building a scout. He's just going straight carrier.
Yeah, it has to be carrier, I suppose.
Awesome.
So,
Wait, didn't he cancel the upgrade though?
oh no, it's
Oh, no,
it's
still
good.
going,
you know,
okay. I thought I saw. I was like, why would you cancel it if you're going?
And I was gonna cannon up the main. So he might be taking the backward space first as an expansion. I'm trying to think about this, like, obviously we haven't seen this before. So I'm trying to think, like, is this actually good, you know?
Yeah, I
I
feel
just
like-
don't see how he has the money to make carriers of 1 base.
Well, I don't know. JayStar probably watched some of these 6 CPL replays that have been coming out, and he's like, I gotta try one of these.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah, maybe.
have you ever? It's kind of funny, but like, have you ever watched low level StarCraft and seen like a good idea in there, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
why didn't I think of that before? Like,
Yeah, I mean, speaking of crazy strats, like, you can actually go scouts against Zerg, speaking of, rushing Stargate like this, but we did see Observer first for DeWalt, so he's gonna get in here and just... Well, I mean, how do you react to this? Like, the thing about carriers is that Dragoons actually kind of Shrek them, but Dragoons aren't really good against the Interceptors the way that Goliaths are, right? And so, I suppose, like, you can't really defend your inside third against carriers, so maybe that makes it a bit better on this map. But again, he just doesn't have any money. Like, it's 1 base carrier, dudes.
yeah, he's just gonna be stuck paying that child support for those interceptors all game. I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't. We're not even like working on getting into the. Oh my god, it's a second Stargate in the ob season before it's done.
So,
Oh my god, this production value. Oh my god, that's so ridiculous.
So now DeWalt is thinking, okay, I gotta go like speed scouts to counter this, you know, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you build in this situation? I mean, the scouts. Yep. I have to say, scouts are they're excellent versus carriers, are they not? They just absolutely like one-shot them.
Any BGH player knows scouts wreck carriers. Now, what I would do is I would scout this and be like, okay, check every hidden expo, and then if you have a base over him, you just go scouts and win because you're ahead, you know?
Yeah. Or I mean, yeah, someone's like get Dark Templar. Like and then make Archons, like that would be pretty cool too. You know, just oh, you want carrier? Well, yeah. Hey, I want carrier now.
And then you can just fly around with Dark Archons in a shuttle. It is strong for sure. It takes a while to get going though, so I guess you're vulnerable to a potential carrier timing before you have mind control. But other than that, yeah, should be fine. It's actually similar what I'm seeing here to like, you know, when a Zerg opponent goes Hydralisks and you want Mutalisks. What you can do is just take a third with your map control and then go ground yourself.
Yeah.
In the same way here, you could just, you know, get your natural first and then go scouts yourself, Stargate yourself. But looks like he's going for the Dark Archon route instead.
Nice. Well, this has taken a turn for the strange, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I just think the problem with this is that it's one base for JayStar.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even afford, like, after when you have like 6 carriers, and even if they're just trading pretty good, you know, your opponent's able to just throw crap away to the carriers, and the carriers, you know, like in order for them to walk all the way across the map, you need to have created like a significant amount of damage on the army, so they can't just walk into your base and kill you. This is so funny. Look at this Reaver can't even shoot the carriers, doesn't care. He's just gonna bust down the small amount of ground troops, and the goons are just like in the middle here just being tickled to death.
He focuses down the Reaver. That's pretty good. That's like sniping the tank, you know,
yeah, smart
in
move.
PvT.
Man, you're just coming out with all kind of new analogies, because it's like this is the PvP of sniping the tank. It's just like
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is.
It is such a weird situation.
Why on Stargate, dude?
What? I know. What is it? Is this like he's like, oh, I forgot to macro. It's like a macro Stargate on one base.
But yeah, DeWalt. I mean, the only thing that could happen here is like, it's that carrier timing I was talking about. I guess before you have mind control. But it may not be an issue simply because Dragoons are so strong against carriers if you can catch them. DT drop also. Which is strong because remember, he's on one base, so he doesn't want to make extra cannons, and he certainly can't get observers, right? So the DT drop might actually kill him here.
I just am so perplexed by this third Stargate, though.
Oh, here comes the DT. This might be it.
Yeah, there's no cannons here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there goes one. Yeah, good luck getting that one up. It's funny, this cannon's like, I hope he doesn't see it.
Yeah.
It's like, how else are you gonna get it up, you know?
Alright, so thinking about this a little bit more open-mindedly. I mean, if you put carriers over the natural, this is what for scouts, right? Because scouts can just solve that problem. Dark Archons can't actually reach the carrier necessarily and mind control it when it's camping your nat, right?
Yeah. Out of curiosity, what happens when you maelstrom the carriers but not the interceptors? Do the interceptors still like kill stuff, or do they go back?
Well, you can't maelstrom carriers because they're not biological. So
right.
It just turns into a failstrom.
A failstrom.
Yeah, like a failstrom is when you try to mainstream something you can't mainstream. Like a lot of Protoss will try to mainstream borrowed lurkers, but it doesn't work. So, yeah, this was the plan, I guess, to snipe the base from here. Because Dragoons aren't really as good at killing interceptors as Goliaths are. They're just not, you know?
Oh yeah, they have that really low rate of fire, so like unless they're like focusing down the interceptor gets to go home and get all repaired and get all good and cozy.
And more susceptible to overkill too because of the high cooldown. Whoa, he didn't die to the DTs. Huh. Okay. Oh, he might catch a carrier here though.
Oh!
Okay, he gets away.
Okay, well...
It's the pre-micro... Oh, no, he has micro.
Ah, there we go!
Yeah, he's got it. He almost has one more, too. So the pre-micro timing is hitting a little bit, but not quite.
Anyways, this is a really interesting carrier build out of DeWalt, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of a build that relies on the opponent's units, there was actually a style of PvZ that skipped Observer and microcontrolled an Overlord. Anyway, GG's called.
That's hilarious! You're like, well, why make my own detection when I can have your detection?
Yeah, and you could always bait the Overlord to come out, because you would bring a DT, so he would have to detect it, and that's when you stole it.
Oh, that's so ridiculous.
Anyways, cool Grand Theft carrier to finish that out. I think the idea, honestly, wasn't total trash. Honestly. It's just he was on one base, you know? He didn't have the cash.
Yeah, I think maybe one base 3 Stargate is a little interesting.
Yeah.
Especially on a map where you literally have a free back base, you know?
Right.
You could definitely have played that out for the long game, but unfortunately it's just kind of like we're all in on this plan and we're not going to have a backup at all. I thought it was at least very fun. JayStar truly a king when it comes to his choice of strategy this game one.
Yeah, so he's gonna choose another map now, I suppose. Probably not gonna see anything as crazy as that, but who knows? This guy's he's mad apparently.
It was so funny though. I just imagine him going on to Liquipedia and he's like, "What's good in PvP now? Oh, 3-gate? Okay, I'll make 3 Stargates."
Yeah.
It's like the Google Translate was messed up.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the concept was strong. It's such a puzzle to solve. How do you actually get enough stuff at all the times? That's the issue. But if you can just get to the natural with carriers, it's really strong because your opponent can't expand. He can't take his nat, he can't take his third, right? Both die to carriers.
Yeah, and I mean it was pretty decent there for a moment. I mean we saw how good the carriers did over the mineral line at the natural expansion because, as you said, the Dragoon's really not that good at taking out the interceptors, so they're kind of stuck in this position where they just can't fight the army, and JayStar was able to take pot shots at the nat. So if it had worked out a little differently, could have been okay. I'd like to see him work on that build order a little bit more though, because clearly there's some refinement that's needed there. We'll be heading to Sylphid next, so let's go ahead and get on into that one.
Right, so he did pick Sylphid. Okay, Sylphid has been picked here by JayStar. Definitely not a map that carriers can ever do work on.
Let's see, what's the play gonna be this time? I think it's funny though, at the very beginning of the game, DeWalt's like, alright, this is JayStar, I'm gonna send a probe. It's already over there.
Yeah.
He's like, I know some shit is gonna happen. And then later on, his obs gets there, oh, it's fucking carrier. I knew it. God damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't get that game out of my mind. I'm thinking about, is there a way to do it now? Do you maybe take a base and then go carriers?
I'm sure there is certainly a good way to pull it off. I mean, I'm not a man with the requisite information here, but certainly there's a way. There's a universe where that works pretty good. You know what I mean? And if it does, it'd be pretty scary.
Yeah, I really do believe in the concept. You just have to work out the details, when you get what, what's the actual build gonna be. But I'm gonna miss that map, I'll tell you, Odyssey. It's a shame we're not gonna see it again after the season. In ASL and so on. It's a map that takes time to ferment for people to come up with stuff on, you know?
Yeah. You gotta leave it in the wine cellar for a couple of years, let it age, build that character a little bit.
Yeah, and DeWalt scouting quickly again. It worked last game, so why not, I suppose.
I have to agree with you, though. I generally like these maps that have non-obvious solutions to how you can completely take advantage of their unique map features. Certainly because of the cannon in the base in the back, there's some timing issues as far as how you can get your natural expansion up and how you can take advantage of getting that pseudo free base. So it is nice, but we still move kind of quick out here. I feel like the maps go in and out of rotation pretty quick. We'll find a couple ones that the scene will really like Like Sylphid's
this
been
one,
around for a while. Yeah, but like it's like, you remember that season where it was like all island maps, and we're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well, we like that for one season. Now, completely different map pool, you know?
Yeah, and an issue is that, by the way, JayStar not scouting at all again, and DeWalt scouting, interestingly. But yeah, the issue is that a lot of the maps that take more time for people to get good on are the ones that are immediately replaced, whereas the ones that are standard get to stay around, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, I mean, I think it's like mostly like people are just like, oh, well, I don't understand this map, so I don't want to play it. You know?
Exactly.
But if it, as you said, like if it takes a little time for people to understand and figure out the nuances of those maps. So it would be nice if we saw them sticking around a little bit more. Like a map that I really liked a lot was like Third World, that not too many people played, but it produced some really crazy, really interesting games. You know, I always want to see more stuff like that.
Second gate for DeWalt, and he has to leave as the Dragoon comes out. So, if JayStar wants to do something crazy, now he can, but he at least range confirmed on the cybernetics core before he had to go.
The real question, when is Python coming back? You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah, Python. Oh, 3 gate. I mean, I have a lot to say about that map, actually. But I'll save it for another... I'll save that round for another time. It's an interesting map.
We need to make a PSL, dude. Python StarLeague, man. We get only Python every game.
Yeah, I remember... oh, he's gonna trap this Dragoon, actually. Pretty sick play with the probe, baiting it down here. Okay, he doesn't really trap it, I suppose, so he doesn't get any hull damage. Could have been sick. Idea was good, execution not really there. So this is the same build Razz went for, except in your base.
Alright, the Robo is out, boys. Now we wait, and then we get a floating unit that doesn't shoot at all.
Yeah, so the 3 gate versus 2 gate Robo matchup, it's honestly pretty even, like both sides have play. Of course, DeWalt is looking to contain his opponent, and that really gives you a lot of initiative. This is dangerous too, walking out like this, because the opponent does just have more units.
Ooh, and here they come. They sweep up from the bottom, but unfortunately, Dragoons, notoriously difficult to control. Very hard to chase down units with them, since they have to stop and take a pee break every time they have to shoot one of their little photon balls. But, I mean, DeWalt's got the micro, man.
Oh, good ambush by JayStar right here.
Man. Ooh.
It's funny how, because of the fog of war, you can actually just, like, make ambushes by standing in a line, because the opponent's gonna walk in a single file against you. But anyway, the 3rd gate is starting to kick in here, and he's gonna have to abandon this eventually. And I'm worried for JayStar because he might lose too many units trying to hold this too long.
Alrighty, Zealot already down. Extremely good focus fire here from DeWalt, just murdering these Dragoons. These Dragoons coming now from the main. Look at that. Injured Dragoon runs behind his homies.
So because he tried to stay so far out there before trying to pull back into his main, he actually lost a lot of units, and he's just gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like we're watching a slow motion of like a ZVZ right now. Jesus. Instantly. That was... Oh, man. Well, I know you said the build orders were even, but one was a DeWalt build order, you know?
Yeah, I suppose.
That was gross. He just deleted JayStar out of the of that second game there. First one was interesting. Second one, not so interesting. Sorry, JayStar, but looks like you're gonna have to go and meet my boy Razz down in Jersey. Figure out which one of you guys is gonna move on to the next part of the bracket. But of course, not unexpected at all. DeWalt moves on as the winner into the winners match here to go up against John Hoon.
Yeah, wow. You know, I don't know why he had to hold that. I don't know, like, why do you... If somebody's that aggro, surely he has a 3rd gate, right?
I mean, you have to assume. But, I mean, again, this is a matchup where, like, 80% of it is going to be your mental game and trying to read your opponent's intentions and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, who knows? I find it hard, like, especially in mirror matchups, it seems really difficult to be able to read someone's intention, because, like, half the time, especially in a slower one like TVT or PvP, like your opponent is really trying to throw off your mental, because that's like that 80% of it is knowing what's going on. Man, dude, Steve Jung is flaming my wife beater here. Okay, everyone is flaming my wife beater. You know, you guys can all suck my D. How about
and
that?
they're fading my still image because I can't have a green screen. I mean, you don't have a green screen either, but you don't care. You're chat, so like that's the difference.
I have a green screen, but it doesn't work that well. You know, I bought it and it was like I don't know if you've seen the old cast where I use it. It's so scuffed.
Okay, yeah.
I need green screen's like 80% like lighting. You need like really good lighting. And
right.
Do I really want to invest like $300 into like a lighting setup so I can look gorgeous like Sham 2? No, I don't think so. Here's a real question. Are you wearing any clothes, body? Are you just sitting buck naked?
I'm wearing clothing, yeah. I know I'm known as the naked Terran, but right now I am not naked. I'm actually, in fact, ready to check out the next group or the next matchup in my clothing.
That's a really missed opportunity, in my opinion. I feel like, you know what? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take my shirt off. You know what, you fuckers? You guys don't like my shirt? Here we go.
Oh, you don't like it? Okay. How's that?
Fight me, Steve. Let's go.
I'll take mine off too, but nobody will see it.
Anyways. Oh, man. Well, so that was the first part of the bracket. If I remember correctly, we discussed before this. We're going to take a short break before we get into the next rounds, guys. So we'll see you very soon. I'm going to go make some coffee. And this, of course, would be your opportunity to take off all your clothing. Because, you know, you guys can just join me. And as a matter of fact, I'll take my pants off.
Okay,
all
don't
right?
stop, though, before the break starts. Alright, I'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back everyone, StarCraft enjoyers, to the Bombastic StarCraft League. Gonna continue with this group now.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. And I did get some complaints in the chat about my wardrobe choices, so I put on a hat, of course, and I put on, some pants as well. As you can see, I'm wearing pants right now, like to D6 suggested. So we've got pants on. So we're good now, I think. Is this Steve Jung approved outfit? Are we good?
I think we're good, dude. I think this is very esports. Very
esports. Yeah. True. Oh, man.
Alright, so what do we have? Yes, Zhanhun versus DeWalt. So winners match first, of course, and then the losers will play each other. So the top two from the group will advance. Now, these opponents both these players both stomped their opponents, you could say.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens now.
Not to spoil the behind the scenes or whatever, but this was definitely kind of the prediction that we had for the bracket going forward. So I would say that this is kind of like the big matchup that we were waiting for, to see John Hoon versus DeWalt. John Hoon's shown to be extremely powerful for us player. I think he does have what it takes to give DeWalt a bit of a run for his money. I don't know if I feel like he's going to be strong enough to defeat DeWalt, but certainly going to give him some good games.
Yeah, these are definitely the two conventional favorites of this group, for sure. And they're facing off here in the winners match, as many probably expected. Swift first map and then loser picks, right?
Yes, sir. So we're gonna have to go ahead and see how this works out. Sylphid, I think, is gonna be a good match. Also, a good map number one for them to go head to head, because everyone's so used to Sylphid by now.
All right. Yeah, let's go into the game then. I think we're ready. Okay, now this is a map that spawn locations actually do matter a little bit on. We can see that DeWalt's main is more exposed to drops than Zhanhun's, but Zhanhun's is also fairly exposed, to be fair. Because it is still Sylphid, it is still a very droppable map. If you make it to that stage, if you don't just die to Dragoons like we saw before.
Now, one thing I am looking forward to seeing is this super early scout from DeWalt, something that he's doing now, or was that a JayStar specific thing? Because if you don't see that probe going out early, now we know. That was the JayStar move here.
Yeah, is anti JayStar, anti China, anti anybody worse than me, or just something he does?
Yeah, very curious to see that. The thing is, though, is that if it was an anti anybody worse than me, is there ever a situation where he doesn't do that?
Yeah, exactly. He's actually kind of becoming the best. He used to be number 2, with Bonus as number 1. At this point, a lot of people are thinking he's probably number 1 and Bonus is number 2.
Yeah.
It's actually turning into that.
Funny thing is that DeWalt is, I would say, has the more consistent stylistic plays. Bonus' whole thing is he's like, I have no holes in my play. Try to poke one. Where it's like, for Bonus is like, he's always out there making the super flashy miracle plays with the Reaver, stuff like that, and that's great. But you really need to, I think in the long term, if you just continue to improve playing like the super standard, no holes, very clean style is going to pay off in the long run.
Yeah, that's definitely an opinion that many share with you. And we do see DeWalt with a moderately timed probe here. And he goes to the center, which not only checks for proxies, but avoids the opponent's probe as well. Anyways, yeah, DeWalt, he does have a very, conservative Iron Fist style, so to speak. Which I think is good in PvP. It's definitely a good way to play PvP.
Well, yeah, especially since outside of some early shenanigans, PvP, the units you don't have Mutalisk flying into the back of your face, stuff like that. The real only threat is going to be the Reaver every once in a while.
Yeah, and then later on Storm drops, I suppose. But yeah, you can't just haha, I made VPs and you die. Okay, actually that happens sometimes, but you can't have a style based on that, like you can in some other matchups. And no one's going for a mana pylon. It's probably not worth it unless you're sending in zealots behind, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen people just make the mana pylon and have it just sit there and do nothing in high level. I mean, I just don't understand. I still don't get. I don't get the math behind the mana pylon, but I mean, I suppose the zealot just kind of slows them down from being able to take it out, so it gets more value.
Right, and you can also destroy the probes that are trapped. Oh, he's gonna scout the second gateway here, so that's pretty sweet for DeWalt actually. Whereas Zhanhun, he left his probe much earlier, so he'll get away with it, which is economically good. But he's not gonna see the Citadel of Doom right here. This might be a DT expansion from DeWalt.
It's just so funny though for me that like PvP is the one matchup where DT doesn't seem so cheesy. It's like a normal build.
Yeah, it's just a way to expand, really. And it can be like if somebody blind counters it by going like 1 gate observer, add 2 gates, mass dragoon. That can be an issue. But even then, you're actually not entirely dead. Like we've seen Rain do well in that matchup, actually, in that builder matchup. Zhanhun, of course, going for 2 gate robo, and if he plays this safely, he'll get an observer first. Which this builder is fine against, like neither build counters the other, but the DeWalt is definitely comfortable playing that because it's gonna let him get his expansion up for sure. Going for 2 gates though, so if it were a pure DT expansion builder, he might do this off 1 gate only, and then get cannons and storm and what have you, but I'm not really sure. This is a different variation with 2 gates. So
is this just so he can produce follow-up guns on the back end in case like there's some sort of like blind counter situation, so he's not totally screwed?
So this makes it so that he doesn't die to what I was talking about, right? The 1 gate observer triple gate. You actually get a lot of play against that because you can counterattack with the DPs.
Yeah, and then a lot of units have to stay home to kind of block
Exactly.
the hole or whatever, and then you need to wait for a second obs to put any pressure on.
Right, and if you have 2 gateways of your own, you can really hold your own against that. But DeWalt moving out now. Good denial of the scout too. Jonathan really hasn't gotten into the base at all, and we see support bay first. Wow. I think Zhanhun really wanted to scout, but now he feels like since he couldn't, he has to guess, and he's kind of going for the wrong guess right now.
Alrighty, well, here is the DT.
Now the one thing you can do here is you can block your entrance, and then when you see the DT, you reactively make an observatory.
Yeah.
But that's a lot better against the 1 gate DT variant. With 2 gates, the Dragoons can come and join, and you just die like that, like you lose too much momentum.
Yeah, it's really rough, you know. It's so funny to see that like the Dark Templar like knocking on the front door and the Dragoons are just standing there just being slapped to death by a bunch of invisible dudes. But yeah, as you said, with this amount of Dragoons here now at the front, it's kind of like, what do you do? Because the Dragoons will just take the pot shots too.
DeWalt assumed observer first and didn't even try to poke in.
Yeah, it was kind of funny too. He kind of, you know, there was that scouting probe that he dealt with at the natural, but he had a really great timing to do a ton of damage. Like he may not get in and like end you know, Zhanhun's like world, but you know, getting 3, 4, maybe even Dragoons before the obs comes out would be a spectacular way to get started.
Right, he just didn't want to risk it though, because if the observer comes down and you lose it, it's terrible. But this is also terrible. This could be game winning.
Oh my god, and even the reinforcements are now moving across the map here. So DeWalt's going to have a completely naked base here with this Reaver coming in. I don't even know if he suspects it, or it's going to be all reaction time. Oh my god! Excuse me?
Wow.
What is happening here?
That was a big scarab, dude.
Oh my lord. And now it's 24 to 11. That's so upsetting. Oh my god.
Just emptied his whole bladder right there.
Dude, I don't know what just happened. Like, Dude, did that scarab have like like it exploded way more probes than I thought it was gonna
Yeah,
get?
I mean, what happened there was he basically targeted very well, pretty much. He targeted the right probe, you know, and
Oh, that was
and yeah.
disgusting, filthy. It's like a ghost being dropped off in the world's fastest nuke.
Yeah, it really is. And of course, he has the observer now, and he's safe.
Oh man, Goons versus Goon Reaver. Here comes the Dark Templars. Do what they can. Gonna immediately get blown up, and DeWalt is going to just have no fun. So what's up, guys? That was pretty ridiculous. Oh, my bad. I am wardrobe malfunction. Okay. So, anyways.
Wow.
So stupid. Anyways.
Okay.
What a game, though. I actually can't believe that happened to DeWalt. Like, normally you see like the instant reaction from these players, especially a player like DeWalt, who's like very precise with how he plays. But just the timing on when he saw the Reaver, like you saw him react, but it was too late. Right as the probe started getting ready to evacuate, that Scarab detonated. And I think I saw in chat, it was like 18 probes or something with one Scarab.
That's the biggest Scarab I've ever seen. Actually.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And when you're on, like, you're not in like a giant like 3-4 base type of super macro game, it's just over at that point. DeWalt pulled the trigger at the natural expansion. He did what he could, but he just there was literally no case in which he could win after that Scarab went off. But you know, he's gonna be kicking himself because he did have an opportunity with those Dark Templars.
Yeah.
You know, that was the golden
ticket. Send in one. You know, that's not that risky. Send one in and stay behind with one. I mean, that's like a pretty safe thing to do, right? But that would also have worked.
Man.
Anyway, so DeWalt's gonna choose a map now, and he's gonna choose Vermeer, I suppose. So let's go into that game and see what he's got planned.
Yeah. Man, Zhanhun with the timings were great, dude. I just absolutely everything just kind of working out. It's like divine providence. That game was just kind of handed to him. So hopefully we see a little bit more of a performance here from DeWalt. Again, I don't even think it was really on him, because who's gonna go? Oh yeah, he went Reaver first. You know, like just make the assumption.
Right.
But so a little unlucky. Looking forward to a maybe more even game here on Vermeer.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so, you know what that reminds me of, actually, certain great players. They seem to have this aura of providence, like you said, where the opponents just make mistakes against them. Bonnet actually has a lot of that. And Zhanhun bringing that out against DeWalt, maybe, or was it just luck? Let's find out in this game. Can he make it happen again?
Well, I think, you know, you can say, you know, everything's just luck, but when it comes down to it, you do take a risk, you come in with a plan. It's not like John Hoon didn't know what the outcome would be if, you know, the DT started knocking on his door. You know, it's like, it's part luck, but in the end, John Hoon put in the work too, you know?
I think it was a good choice, because he knew his opponent was being aggro with Dragoons, as if he wanted a containment, right? And what's good against containment? Well, sneaking out of shell is very good.
Yeah, I don't really like when we at this level of play, when we refer to anything just purely as luck, right? Like, I could be the luckiest player in the whole world, and I would never beat Bonnet, right? So
yeah.
John Hoon got a lucky break, but he also had the skills to capitalize. Did a really great job in that game. And now he's going still against DeWalt, but he must feel a lot more confident with a one-game lead.
He's playing like a very confident man, I have to say. I mean, late scouting. Okay, in this case, he's scouting at a normal time, and so is DeWalt, but I mean, the confidence of last game to just go for that. It was a good choice, but not a choice everybody would have made, really. Not everybody would be willing to take that risk. So he's making a Zealot. Of course, if you don't, you can run into some issues, like you just died at 2-gate and stuff. So mirrored builds so far. Even mirrored scouting so far.
This is kind of how I wanted to see the games kind of turn out, though. You know what I mean? You always want to see the what most people call the quote unquote skill matchup, where there's like very little variance involved in the build orders, and it really just comes down to execution. So I'm glad that it looks like we're going to see that, but there is still time for things to get fucky, because once the cyber core's up, who knows? All bets are out.
Yeah, indeed.
Maybe John Hoon was watching JayStar's game, and we see the triple star get one base again. Who knows? Could be the new meta.
I'm never gonna forget that. Like now, I'm gonna try to like solve the puzzle. You know, like how can we go to PvP on that map? Like,
Body's gonna be like, up all night. He's got like calculators out and shit. How do I? I need 14 more minerals at 37 seconds. How do I do this?
You know, there's some stuff like that where you can really try hard at like. As an example, okay, let's say you have a builder where you open fast starport and your opponent goes DT and you defend it. Like then you can work out like a way to counterattack with a nuke rush, nuke EMP, optical flare on the observer, and you're always gonna win. Like there's actually stuff like that in the game where like you have specific situations that most people don't bother practicing for. Like, you know, the nuke rush on a map like Optimizer, for example, you know. But so far we actually continue to see mirrored builds in this game. Just one gate range robo.
It is so frustrating listening to players like you play talk about StarCraft like this, because like I'm still struggling to get my 9th meta when my on my 3-hatch meta to come out at the right time. And then you're like, oh well, if you get the optic flare and then you can nuke and they can't find your goat. It's like, oh my god, shut up! I can't get my overlord to get to 36 on time. Okay.
Yeah, first you gotta just macro a ton, you know? That's the first step.
I want to be Tai 2 right now, okay?
Yeah, it's like when you start playing guitar, like you want to play the shred solo, but you gotta learn to play the basics first. Like, I know it sucks.
It's true. Why can't we just be good at things right away, vOddy? I don't get it, man. This is bullshit.
Well, I mean... this is a StarCraft cast, I'm not gonna go into philosophy or anything, but... oh, by the way, DeWalt, Zhanhun, doing the 1-gate robo expansion. Actually, DeWalt also doing it. I was gonna talk about how that's a great build order for a map like this in these positions, and they're both choosing it. Because you can actually survive almost anything when you expand like this. Because this map is so big.
What can't you survive? That's the real question.
You know the thing that the Razz did, like the proxy gateway, like proxy 3-gate goon? That will kill you.
Because it's super aggressive.
Because it's like gateways, you know, in your base. But if they make 3-gate in their own base, you can literally hold it off. Playing like this.
Gotcha. What about like nuclear holocaust, like in real life? Is that, or is this build safe enough? Like, are you good or?
I think if this build could defend against nuclear assault, then I think that every military base would have StarCraft installed on it. Let's just say.
Okay.
So I don't think it's that safe.
I'm just looking, right, because like I live in California, so I'm on the coast, right, and China's sending balloons over. Who knows what's next, dude? You know? Yeah,
I mean, also if you live in the United States, then you have something called like NORAD, which is like a
true,
a missile defense system that's pretty good, I hear. So
the Iron Dome.
Yeah, really, if you want to use nukes in real life, then you really have to like establish dominance first. You have to take out the opposing forces like missile defense system, because you can't just nuke people. Luckily, like I was really scared about nukes until I learned this. So thankfully, you can't actually just nuke people. You know.
Thankfully, I mean, the United States is pretty Chad nation. Like we're so Chad, right? We don't even care if people are shooting up our schools. You know, it's like whatever, bro. Come at us.
Observer, almost a good reaction by Zhanhun.
You think you're gonna nuke us, man? We kill our own citizens, all right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the Walt sneaking in the observer. So okay, the Walt actually winning the vision matchup. He denied Zhanhun's observer, but he got his own observer in, and he seized the shuttle. Very nice. Other than that, though, they're really doing the same build.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, we're in that situation where it's just like, dude, who's going to make the move?
Again, denying division.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's pretty sick, actually.
John Hoon coming out here to clear out a spotting pylon for the...
This is dangerous, though. He might get caught in here.
Oh, and we only have, well, but the Reavers don't have a shuttle to ferry them over here. So the Reaver for Zhanhun be able to take a couple of pot shots on this, and then the army can potentially run away. Oh my god, the shuttle instantly taken out here. And now you have the double slugs just completely destroying Zhanhun's Dragoon Ball. And I don't know how he does it every time, but DeWalt somehow just finds a way. It's got two slow Reavers, and they just somehow make it out for the fight still.
Yeah, the metal slugs were just there in time. Now, to be fair, Zhanhun took the fight when he didn't really have to. He actually got out, he could have run. But he chose to take the fight because he had the shuttle advantage, the shuttle just died. And now DeWalt wants to counterattack. So, one Reaver only, with no shuttle. Which is also the observer advantage, so DeWalt is always going to get the first shot. It's almost like a Terran versus Terran, you know, where your tanks get to shoot first.
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing, a little bit, in PvP, and yeah, we can see that now.
What a dire situation. Look at these Dragoons just like hiding for their lives behind this mineral line.
Yeah.
Can't even really get out to have a good arc.
So he can snipe these shuttles and escape with his own.
Ooh! Oh my god!
Oh, losing the
Wow.
shuttle. So he no longer has that advantage, but I think it did its job, like he did enough damage.
Yeah, the initial scares certainly did a whole lot of damage. The Dragoon count's super low now, so DeWalt able to just walk on into this natural expansion and do the damage now with the remaining Dragoons here. This one Dragoon just opting out of this fight. He's like, no, what do you mean? Don't worry about it. I'm just chilling back here.
Wow.
Battle shuttle. There we go. And that'll be a GG from Zhanhun. So, man, that was a pretty clinical game by DeWalt. I don't really know what happened over there by the natural expansion by DeWalt's natural. Like the army just took like catastrophic damage for essentially no reason. He wanted to take out the pylon, but he lost a ton of goons. He lost everything really he needed, and he lost it to Dragoons with slow Reaver support. It was kind of insane. Like I feel like if Zhanhun just kind of ran away, he would have been fine.
Maybe he didn't see the Reavers and then they came out of Fog of War, because they were behind a little bit, right? And then it's just like, bam.
Yeah, that is
in your
true.
face.
That is pretty scary, and they do have quite a long range. But man, that was a very unfortunate game for Zhanhun. I'm sure he's kicking himself because things just kind of went downhill really quickly. The game started out looking like it was going to be a pretty even macro game, and then just the initial handshake of the two armies went so badly for Zhanhun. There was like essentially no way they hold his natural after that. No shuttle. One Reaver versus double Reaver in a shuttle and a giant Dragoon Ball outside your net. Doesn't feel good, man.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to choose a map now. Looks like he's choosing Butter. So I don't know. He hasn't had any all-ball strats yet, but I want to see what he's got planned on Butter.
Does this map feels so weird. Every time I look at it, I'm like, who made this map? It looks so stupid and wrong, and like it doesn't fit at all. But then you play it, and it's like, oh, this is actually pretty decent. And you think, oh, it's a two-player map. It's gonna be really aggressive. No, I mean the rush distance is pretty long. It's not like stupid. Like we're not just saying like all-in strategies every game. Really well constructed map, but man, does it look super weird.
Yeah, it certainly looks different aesthetically. I'm okay with it though.
Yeah, I think it works out great. We've seen some pretty good games on it, and I definitely think it's got one of the better names. I just like, guys, the next game is going to be on Butter. It's so smooth.
Alright, so we do have Zhanhun in the top on Butter, and DeWalt on the bottom.
Wow.
The bottom looks like caramel, doesn't it? Like the ground is more like caramelized, and the top is more like... Okay, the top is like smooth caramel, and the bottom is like... I don't know.
Yeah, we've got uncooked smooth butter at the top, and then the bottom we have some really nice Maillard reaction going on down here.
Yeah, right.
Where it's just caramelized onto that bread, and you get that really golden, crispy crunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, not a map you're probably going to do the same build as last time on. because the rush distances they are big for duplicate map. They're not as huge as like cross spawn from here, you know. Also a rampless map, so a 3-gate again could come into play.
I would like to see someone take a page out of Razz's book and do some kind of proxy 3-gate shenanigans, because that sounds very busted and very terrifying. And honestly, I mean, the way that game number 1 went, or game number 2, DeWalt just looked so much more on top of his micro, you know. I would like to see a very unit, where like a strategy where unit control is super important. So some early aggression might be, I think, really to his advantage.
Yeah, you want to take the initiative, right? DeWalt actually kind of did take the initiative last game because he denied vision for his opponent, but got vision for himself. And so when Zhanhun got hit by those reavers, like, he may not even have known where they were. I don't remember exactly if there was an observer at that time, but he was definitely behind in vision compared to DeWalt. But to try to take the initiative in some way is always good, and we actually have DeWalt again avoiding the opposing probe with his probe. He does that a lot, I've noticed. So he doesn't show that he is scouting until he gets the scout in. In fact, he still hasn't shown it. He's sneaking in into the main.
I see that, and he's just chilling. So I don't even know if this is going to be much of a deciding factor, but if it just hangs out here and gets to see the tech after nice manner pylon, but trapping his own scouting probe in there as well.
Well, that's a little crazy, actually. You don't want to be. Oh my days, loses it even.
Ooh, yeah, it was just. Oh, it was only one stuck in there too, so he was just glitching out on the other probe while DeWalt's probe was just firing away here. But that hidden probe, like, even if it just stays there and doesn't do any proxy shenanigans, if it just walks in and sees the gateway count, sees the timing of the robo or whatever the tech is going to be, that is going to be such a huge thing for DeWalt, man.
Yeah, it's actually massive. What he's doing now is actually a bit of a pimpist play, because he can choose to just scan the opposing base whenever he wants to. And normally, you cannot really scout after the Dragoon is out, right? But
yeah.
no, he can.
I don't know, it sounds like he's cheating or something. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, like this is like not allowed normally, you know? Yep. You're not allowed to have this info.
Yeah,
so
this
he can do
gonna
that
get
perfect counter.
It's funny too, because like the most dangerous part of PvP is like when the initial build orders get discovered for both players. Oh my god. And when you go Templar, you don't want someone to know that ahead of time.
Yeah, you really don't. Oh, this is crazy, dude. He still hasn't played the card yet. He's checking the front for now. But eventually he's going to send that probe in, and he's going to see the Citadel of Verdun.
Yeah, he needs to... I'm sure it's going to be coming up here soon, because this is where the determining... Like, this is where the build order will be... There it goes. Yep. Beep, 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 beep. And he sees with his scanning probe.
Wow.
What's up? He even walks past it just to assert dominance. He's posing right now in the main. He's like, hey, I saw it. He's hitting the cyber now. He's like, yo, haha,
so
you've been found out.
He was planning, I think, to expand because he didn't have 3 on gas. So he was probably going to check like what his opponent had and then basically mirror it but expand a little bit faster. But now that he sees this, he's just like, whoa, okay, never mind. We need to get a robo out. And he put probes back on gas. So Zhanhun actually abandoning ship and going for a robo himself. So not even going to make any DTs.
Well, if being forewarned is being forearmed, like, we just DeWalt just handed himself a nuke. Like, this is crazy. This is not what... Like, out of all the builds that you could be going, I think DT is, like, the most... This cannot be scouted.
Yeah, because, I mean, it really, it's okay against general builds, but there are some hard counters to it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that now that this has been scouted, he will not get any damage done in the main, but not only that, but he won't be able to stall for his natural anywhere near as long as he would have.
And, I mean, he's not even going to make the DT, so his build is just kind of bad right now in that he just has this random Citadel, you know, for no reason. Because he actually went Robo, and now he's gonna go Reaver. And it looks like DeWalt's plan was indeed to expand. He just wanted to know how quickly he could do it, you know, how greedy could he be That's what that probe was for.
Well, now he knows that there's like no real chance of pressure at his natural expansion too, so he's like not worried at all about anything at this point. And so look at the timing, man. How long is it going to be until this Nexus goes up for John Hoon?
Yeah, it's gonna be a Reaver all-in most likely. And the thing is, so he didn't make DTs and he went Reaver instead. But as DeWalt, you don't actually care what the opponent is doing, because either he goes DT, which you're ready for, or he does anything else, and it's so inefficient that you don't even have to know it's coming.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway.
Because you're gonna go Robo if it's DT anyways, so you're gonna already have the Robotech to pair up against his Robotech. The only difference is that, man, do we have way more Nexuses? Some might say double, in fact. Like, it's just, there's more. Zhanhun is really going to have to make something massive happen here, otherwise he's just completely out of the game economically in just like in 1 minute, dude.
This was such a pimpest play. I don't know if people realize how hype this is, what he did right there. Like, he won by hiding a probe. Literally. That's some Slayer's Boxer shenanigans, if I've ever seen it.
What's really funny is that that probe just got in without being seen. Completely unseen. You would think that you just have a building be able to see that, so that doesn't happen, because, man.
You know, Terra players think about that, but Protoss players aren't used to having to deal with shit like that, so... yeah. Anyway, the one advantage he has now is the shuttle. DeWalt does not have a shuttle, so that's a little bit dicey right now. If he survives this, he will win, but... his Reaver is a little bit slow. He actually made 2 observers, which I have to question.
Oh... What is happening, DeWalt? Why did you do this?
Okay, so he made 2 observers. Maybe he was expecting DTs. But I really think he should have just made 1, man. If he had made 1 and then a Reaver, and maybe like a shield battery too, he would have been totally fine.
What do you think the idea of the second observer was? Like, did he just want to have a second one for like in his main in case like there was a drop and he got attacked at the front at the same time? Or like, because I mean... Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like all the chips were in DeWalt's hand, but John Hoon, you know, you gotta give it to him, man. It was a pretty sick change of plans. We were saying that it's gonna be too inefficient to do anything against DeWalt, but clearly not. Really unfortunate that the timing on that Reaver was delayed by that. So, like, even if he had gone Obs, Reaver, Obs, it would have been fine because the Reaver would have had time to walk through the natural expansion and not taken that fight without the Reaver support. So, man, again, those tiny decisions once again have really been biting people in the butt here. But look at that, man. Not the prediction that I would have made, but John Hoon is going to be the first one out of the group.
A little bit of an upset, maybe. I mean, maybe we're overrating DeWalt here because like he's like our guy, so to speak. But very good by Zhanhun to take that. And DeWalt, of course, going to have to fight his way out of the loser's bracket now. Which he is still the favorite in. But, yeah. I look forward to seeing the games.
Alrighty, well, we are going to be determining now second player out of the bracket. So we have Razz going up against JayStar. Both these players have, I would say, somewhat aggressive playstyles, with Razz being the more conventional of the two. We already saw an excellent, really cool game where we had 3-star get off single base from JayStar. Really looking forward to seeing anything else. You know, any weird JayStar builds coming out. Really, I don't know. I'm excited when you get the opportunity to see a player like this who like really shakes up the meta. You know, that type of play, especially if he's more familiar with playing his weird strategy than you are playing against it, can really end up working out in your favor. It didn't unfortunately work out for him in the game that he tried the Stargate play, but who knows? You know, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so am I, for sure. First map, Sylphid. Okay, looks like we're ready to go into the game.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and get on into it, guys.
So Razz against JayStar. Razz tried a 3-gate build on this map and got slammed by DTs last time. He might go for that again though. I mean, it's an okay build. It is a good rampless map for it and so on.
Would like to see it. The question is that how is his 3-gate build going to deal with the Dark Archon that's going to be there? And,
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? It's going to have full energy and it'll have a storm. And, who knows? But for real though, very interested to see what the build order selections are, because I would love to see a very aggressive play out of Razz. I think that plays to his strengths. It's always really cool to see someone just go all out like that. But JayStar, not someone to be outdone on the build order side of things, so we'll have to just kind of see what goes on here. Are we going to see our first 2-gate question mark? Would love to see
Doesn't
it.
look like we have a 2-gate kind of guy in this group, because I think we would have seen it by now. So, although 2-gate is all the rage these days in PvP, it doesn't look like these people are jumping on the bandwagon.
You think that's an insult? I feel like that's an insult.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I apologize.
Oh no, I mean to. This is the implication that I'm making.
Yeah.
I imagine, like, you know, like 15, 20 years from now, my daughter brings home a guy, you're like, hey, Steven, nice to meet you. Hey, you know, you really seem like a 2-gate kind of guy, you know? And he'll be like, yeah, thank you, sir. And not know that I'm calling him a piece of shit.
Okay. Well, in that case, I was complimenting these 2 gentlemen then, or these 4, for not
Exactly.
2-gate guys. Okay.
Gentleman is the word. No, I especially PvP 2-gate is super legit. I like to see it. I think it adds a lot of excitement, and to see like how people manage the aggression and stuff like that. Of course, I don't think I've ever seen DeWalt or Bonneth or any of like these like super high level players lose to a 2-gate. But it does shake up the timings for everything, and so it's really a game of like, where am I and where's my opponent as far as like the economies go, and then your ability to like make the analysis of like the post 2-gate phase of the game.
Yeah, that's the biggest deal too. And it's what you were talking about, where you're more used to it than your opponent is, so you can do the follow-up better than they can. And JayStar still isn't yet scouted, by the way. His Zealot is up and he hasn't scouted. That's some serious confidence and or greed.
Why scout if you're gonna do what you're gonna do regardless of what your opponent's doing?
If you don't care, you shouldn't scout.
True.
Yeah.
I remember when I was learning how to play StarCraft, I was playing StarCraft 2, and they were like, all right, you need to scout. I'm like, okay. And I'd send my drone out, and it'd be like, oh, he's got 2 gases. And I'd like leave, and I'd be like, well, I don't know what that means. So I'd just keep doing whatever I was doing, and I'd just lose like 5 seconds later to a DT in my base.
Yeah. Okay, so what Razz has accomplished here is, he actually saw the gateway even. Like, if you can keep your probe alive for long enough, then your opponent eventually has to put his tech down. Or just delay it, which is just bad. So he range confirmed and even saw the second gate, and Razz is gonna go ahead and mirror that with his own second gateway. For some reason, Razz hasn't been making as many probes either. And I wonder what he's cutting for.
Yeah, I was about to point the same thing out. He was down 3 probes for a little portion of that. It looks like he's like about 2.5 probes behind if we're talking about timing wise. But yeah, do you think he's been cutting? I mean, it's just very early in the game to expect someone to be like just like missing on their macro. But like we don't see. I mean, it's 2 gates only, right?
Yeah, he's got 2 gates. They both do, and looks like a Robo went down now for Razz. And also for JayStar, okay. And the JayStar's Robo is just a little bit earlier. Now, that might be because he didn't scout, I suppose. So he has more cash. Either that or his macro is just better.
I find it so hard to believe that Razz would unintentionally beat down 4 probes right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. 4 probes, so that's a lot. Okay, he's walking into an ambush here. Gonna pick
Ooh.
up.
Big damage on that first goon. Excellent focus fire here. Razz doing a great job with the micro so far. Damage from that Zealot being completely ignored and actually rotated.
No.
Oh no!
Okay, he got 3 goons though for 1 goon and 1 Zealot.
Yeah.
And this is the power of knowing what your opponent is doing. Like, he saw the second gate, so he knew he wasn't gonna be behind. Like, the 2 gates might have been fishing for a 1 gate Robo, right? What he was doing. Razz knew exactly what to expect and had the ambush ready.
Man, that goon glitching out though, I thought was going to be like the moment, but then I realized it was like, oh, it's too late. Razz has already won the fight, so it doesn't even matter that his one goon decided to take a smoke break.
Yeah, he got smacked a bit by the Zealot, but he's okay. So Razz might be going for the containment now, because he knows he is ahead on units. In fact, JayStar getting a third gate on one base. So that might be his attempt to get out, but it hasn't paid off yet. Observer first for Razz, Reaver first for JayStar. So JayStar being way more of a gambler this game than Razz. Pretty sure he's going Reaver first even. So anyway, that attack he did with the 2-gate, like, it might have looked stupid, but a lot of times when people just seemingly attack for no reason, what they're doing is actually scouting, because he hadn't scouted at all in any other way, so he needed to see, like, okay, are you going, like, 1-gate Robo or 1-gate Templar tech, you know? If so, I'm gonna come in and see that. Now, of course he wasn't, so he ended up taking a lot of damage, and it's always a little bit risky to scout like that. But, like, when you see the first Vulture in TVT just go into the main, that's scouting for somebody going machine shop first, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you do need to get that information, because if you don't, then you can die later on.
Yeah. Now,
It's
when
just
you do it,
unfortunate
though,
that you lose that many Dragoons.
I mean, you have to be ready for the ambush. Like, you have to be ready to retreat immediately, because you could scout that he would 3-gate mass goon, right? And if that's what you're scouting with your army, then you really have to retreat. Speaking of scouting with your army, he's gonna see the 3-gate here and know that it's gonna be like a massive goon Reaver attack incoming. Now, when you have the Observer advantage, it can help you in the fight a lot. So I really want him to keep this Observer and not lose it, Razz. And if you can snipe your opponent's Observer, that's great too. For the fight.
Yeah, it's like the floating barracks of this matchup, where it's just, it gets you that like half a second where your Scarab is out there before your opponent's Scarab, lets you get that initial damage, so that way when the goons collide, you have that little bit of extra damage on that goon ball.
Yeah, good denial of that forward unit there too. The probe. So Razz's exposed main is actually coming into play here, because if JayStar sieges, he could easily drop into the main from that. And in fact, he's doing it right now. He's threatening the front, and everything's on the front except for 2 goons, but it's not enough. They're not ready. And then he just drops the main. And he's even trying to go attack at the front at the same time, just to cause more chaos.
Well, it certainly is chaotic. There's no mining going on.
None whatsoever.
That's nice.
Very strong, actually, from JayStar, right?
Yeah, very good at time.
And he's just continuing to destroy Dragoons. And now, again, when everything goes into the main, then he attacks the front at the same time, losing the shuttle, though. But, okay.
Oh, but I was like, oh, this is a great move, but then, oh, the Reavers are winning.
Yeah, like, the drop in the back was great, but he was a bit too eager to go into the front at the same time. Getting caught by some Reavers doing massive damage, and now Razz actually has an opportunity to counterattack, because he lost both Reavers and a lot of Dragoons. Razz only lost mining time, which means he has a temporary army advantage that he can use right now to attack.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like JayStar almost out-microed himself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he needed to just do less right there. Actually.
Yeah, it's like we're, instead of watching the Pimpus plays, man, we're watching the Wimpus plays, dude. He like absolutely destroyed himself there, with just a little bit too much multitask for his own good, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. JayStar's Observer being zoned out a little bit. So for now, Razz actually has the vision advantage, and especially if he kills this enemy Observer, which he does. So now he can really probably bully JayStar into his main. He has 1 Reaver and no Shuffle only.
Well, this is going to be a bit brutal if that, oh my god, if that completely unmicroable Reaver gets absolutely smacked at the very beginning of the fight.
Reaver, though. Too far, though.
Wow.
With his Reavers.
God, the pylon is so OP. Did you see how many of those Reavers in the back were shooting that pylon?
Yeah, pilots are definitely good against Dragoons. But damn, dude, I think he could have just taken it slower.
Yeah,
And,
definitely. Especially once he had popped the Reaver, if he had just pulled back instead of dropping in the front.
Yeah, just drop in the back, man. But now JayStar's going to expand a little bit earlier than Razz, but overall, I guess it's somewhat even with a slight army advantage to Razz. He does have maybe 2 or 3 more dragoons.
Well, we do have a bit. What? That's a traitor zealot right there, man.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really unexpected because yeah, as you said, if Razz had slow played it, I think the game was over, right? You've got a shuttle and 2 Reavers alive when your opponent has to make the decision. I mean, like it's not really a decision. You have to make the Reaver first, but I mean, without any Reavers, those Reavers could just keep taking pot shot after pot shot.
Yeah, right.
You had such a big army.
Yeah, just like fly up, shoot, fly back. You know, just snipe units slowly. That was really like a potentially game-winning move.
I do have some new information, though. I hear that, according to this, BroodWar is a hard game, and sometimes you just fuck up.
That is true. That is definitely true. BroodWar is difficult. Folks, this is true. So the game continues now, and it's basically even. So either one's game at this point. I predict, like, one thing you could go for now is, like... okay, this observer might die here, actually. Wow, barely gets away. No, does it? Yeah, I think it's safe. Cool. So... oh, that's so close, dude. Okay, you got it. Cool. So... in the mid-game of PvP, you have some choices, like... you can try to delay Templar Tech, get Storm later, and get Shuttle Speed instead. And try to go for like a lot of aggression against the army. You can actually harass the army and the economy. Like if you snipe a Dragoon and then leave, that counts as harassing the army, right? And of course you can also harass the probe line. And they've actually been playing for so long on one base that their bases are gonna mine out earlier than normal. I don't know if that's gonna come into play, but JayStar actually mining out first because he had more probes for so long.
Yeah, well, and Razz wasn't allowed to mine for a good couple.
Yeah, exactly that too. Right.
But yeah, the point to your point though, I don't know if it's gonna become too relevant because these players have like refused to just relax. Everyone's just trying to fight all the time. JayStar's army right now kind of split up here in the middle. Huge army on the left side, completely abandoned by the army now moving back towards the natural expansion. Very strange. Unfortunately, Razz has no idea that there's a big group on the left. Oh my god, and he drops the Reaver blunders. Is it a blunder though?
Yeah,
one goes down.
Big scabs from both sides. Actually, one Reaver almost goes down for JayStar. Pretty good micro here. Oh, as I say that, actually loses it to a dodgeable projectile. So Razz barely gonna take that fight, I think.
Yeah. Well, his one Reaver plus his shuttle here going to make the difference. It's actually ludicrous how good Reavers are. Like, if your Reaver survives, it's like that's the metric for if you won the fight or not. Now,
yeah, for
we
sure.
do have a shield battery going down here now, and I don't think there are enough units here to push this advantage here. If he loses the shuttle or the Reaver, it's going to be a pretty big loss.
Yeah, he just pushed too hard there. I mean, the defender's advantage meant that attack was just not going to work, you know? He took a good fight, but he couldn't really continue pressing like that after.
Yeah, a little gnarly there.
What a slugfest
I understand the
game.
impulse, though. Because you go, oh man, I just killed the army. There can't be 7 Dragoons in the natural, right? So,
Right.
But there were, and there was a Reaver and a shuttle, so it's little roughies. But yeah, I mean, as you said, it has been quite a slugfest. It's kind of funny because no one is willing to stop fighting, but no one has come out with enough of a dramatic advantage to really press into the natural expansion, get anything done. Now, JayStar was banking a ton of resources, and so he's able to throw down that third there, and that will be huge if Razz is not able to answer this. And since it seems that Razz is also on the back foot as far as army size, this might be the beginning of the end where JayStar really starts to seal the deal with his advantages.
Yeah, when you're ahead, get more ahead is what JayStar is going for, and he might be going for another threat in the front while dropping the back maneuver here. We do see a sneaky shuttle. We can actually see an observer seeing the Dragoons at the front, which of course is baiting Razz into. Okay, he actually sends 4
How
Dragoons.
does he know? He's so smart!
catches the drop, actually. Only loses 2 probes. Pretty good play from him.
Yeah, I mean that's certainly I think worth it when it comes to the menacing army that's outside of your natural expansion. Clearly, you don't want to lose any probes, but man, is it worth not having to deal with the second Reaver and the shuttle, right? Because now the shuttle's gone, you can't really push into the natural expansion here.
Yeah, you can for sure. The issue is JayStar is going into a macro game, and Razz really. Okay, he's making some probes now, but he really hasn't really been making probes. In fact, he was behind on probes for a long time, just barely caught up now. And no third, of course, either. But with that Reaver loss, will he have a timing now to attack? Does he know he needs to go? Does he even know, he has to have a timing attack because the third base is up?
Does he even know that the third base is there? I don't think I saw an observer get across there because every time I see the obs to go out and get scouted, it runs into another obs.
Right. Yeah, JayStar doing a good job of denying vision here, but it looks like Razz either senses something or he's just attacking by default because that's, what this game is about. And he's gonna go for it and actually catch a segment of the army.
Oh, that could have been huge, but he doesn't know. He chased the obs instead. Could have taken a really advantageous fight there and cut down a ton of the goons. But he doesn't have his Reavers there, so I understand the impulse to be cautious since you don't have your heavy artillery in the back.
Yeah, the Reavers are here now, and I don't know. I think the third base has been up for a while. It's just he's flooding Dragoons from it. Razz preparing to take his third, but hasn't quite done so yet. Ahead on probes now. Just posturing. He could. Okay, so we got like ground Reavers just marching. Razz sees everything. JayStar doesn't really see anything, so he could prepare an ambush here and actually snipe the opposing Reaver.
Oh!
An advantage.
Big initial scare up there.
Yeah, doesn't quite get the Reaver yet, but gets the first shot at least. But the arc is just massive for JayStar right now.
Yeah, look at that. He's coming around the bottom side as well. Razz's whole goon army is just disappearing into thin air. Wow. Huge moves here by JayStar.
Okay, and I think the slugfest might finally be coming into an end. There were so many moments here where either player could have won, like so much back and forth, so many opportunities, really,
Yeah, it's so funny though. JayStar's execution is here right now. It's just so good. He gets the damage done. Like the shuttle is still alive. He was like, I don't need to kill the shuttle now. I need to just walk into the natural and win. And so, I mean, he's got that killer instinct, man. He finds his advantage and kills him. So there goes Razz. Unfortunately, very, very strong plays here by JayStar. A lot of people in the chat rooting real hard for Razz, so I understand the impulse.
Yeah.
But we do have a couple more games here that he may be able to dig his way back in. So hopefully we see Razz do a good job in this next one here, man.
Yeah, so he's gonna pick Butter, it seems.
Yeah, I feel like Razz and JayStar seem to be like a really good skill matchup, right? Like they seem very even as far as their capabilities go. So I wouldn't be surprised if Razz has got it in him to stick it out to make it onto the next part of the bracket. But here's the real thing that freaks me out a little bit. If you were playing in this series right now, Razz versus JayStar, wouldn't it? I mean, I feel like it would be. You're like, man, like in the back of your head, you got to think, man, if I win, I have to fight DeWalt next. Like, do you even want to win at this point? Or would you rather just go down in this one instead of having to go against DeWalt in the next one?
Yeah, he definitely has his work cut out for him. But the more difficult the path, the more heroism is needed, the more heroic you're going to be if you do it.
Oh man, would it be it would be so crazy if one of these guys went on and beat DeWalt after this.
Would be insane indeed. It's actually a little bit insane that DeWalt is even not out of the group yet. Zhanhun actually beat him. Even that's crazy to me.
Well, we're gonna have to go and see how this turns out next on Butter this time. Yeah, man, I think this is gonna be a great little series. Game 1 has already been really good, and both these players playing like an aggressive style, but like nothing so crazy that it really upsets the balance where someone has been essentially made a coin flip so far. I do want to see at least one coin flip build, though. You know what I mean?
You do? Okay. Well, we might.
I want to see JayStar do something ridiculous. I want to see Scouts or something. I don't know. I want to see it.
Well, he's up a game now, so let's see what he's got planned on Butter. He can afford to go for a coin flip in this next game.
Yeah. Will we see the carriers? Time to find out.
Okay, so JayStar at the top of Butter here. Yeah, I mean, last game was totally winnable at so many points for either player. Like, it was actually a bit of a close game, you know? Like, Razz had that timing attack that worked, but he botched the micro back and forth like 5 times. It was such a slugfest. And a very early... speaking of coin flip builds, probably gonna go for Proxy 2-gate, I would imagine, sending out a probe this early.
Oh my gosh. The square root of x, guys. U to the x power. We got A equals 1/2 base times height.
So Razz, he's been scouting at normal times. I wonder if he... Okay, so every Terran who scouts, he checks his natural... Okay, no, he doesn't even have to check, because he's going to see it as soon as he scouts. This is just like in your face.
This is so ballsy. This is the fuck you.
Yeah, it really is.
Proxy builds.
It's just like...
I think you're so bad, I'm not even going to bother hiding it.
Wow, so this is a build where you can definitely go for some Man or Pylorinos at the same time. And if you get those are great, because that's essentially a free probe kill, you know? And you're really trying to flood Zealots and kill probes when you're doing this. Razz scouting his main to check for proxies, but like he's gonna see the proxy right now. And he's like, oh, okay. So what do you do right now? You know, if you scout it early enough, you can actually pull probes.
Kill the pylon?
Well, you gotta kill the gateway because he's gonna make another pylon. That's the thing.
Right.
But it's too late now. If he had done it immediately, maybe... Oh, he takes his gas! Okay, so he wants to get Dragoons out, but I don't think he has the solution for this. I think he's gonna get Zealot flooded, to be honest.
I mean, so if you're taking your gas, you're trying to stall for the goons so you can kite around your main and be cool or whatever, right? But the gateway's like literally right there.
Yeah, and if they make a battery, while you're dancing around trying to grind that Zealot, you're losing probes that are trapped to minor pylons.
Yeah.
So I just don't think you can... I really think, like, if the gateway is this close, you have to pull probes to destroy it, and if you can't, you have to go 2-gate, and,
I mean,
I don't know.
Look at that assimilator. It's literally doing nothing, all right? Because Razz realizes now, oh god, I can't do anything here. I need minerals. Like, I've got 2 proxy pylons in my main right now.
3 now, even.
Oh
Damn.
my god! What is this?
Those are all dead probes, by the way.
Yeah, they can't do anything. Look at this. Look at Razz. He's got 50 minerals. Look how slow he's fighting right now.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where, like, the first time you face it, you're going to die. Maybe Razz just hasn't faced this before, you know?
I'm sure maybe it's been a little while, or maybe his brain didn't go into that crisis management mode right away or something like that. But I mean, look at this. The probe micro has been excellent. Yeah, like the Zealot really having a hard time to get any damage done.
And the counter mana pylon too is helping out a fair amount.
Look at how much blue is chasing that one red over there.
Yeah, but another probe gonna go down now. The trapped one. Oh, it's just so painful. He almost has double the probe amount.
Yeah, this is Rusty's. Razz doing his best, but at this point, like the probe difference, it's already been done. Like, if he never lost another probe, it's already kind of over at this point. Razz even shield battering his probes, trying his heart out, you know, trying to keep his economy alive. But at this point, JayStar loses the 2 gates at the front, doesn't even matter.
Right, or the 1 gate. Apparently, he never even made a second.
Oh, I didn't even see a second. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was gonna be 2 gates, but he wanted to make mana pylons instead to trap probes, and he really killed a lot of probes that way. So that seems to be a good choice.
Yeah, it was actually crazy. I was kind of like thinking, man, there's really not that many Zealots here. I just kind of assumed that Razz is doing a good job managing them, but you're right. Wow, JayStar has done incredible with the commitment of just a pylon and a gateway. Of course, there were the mana pylons as well, and you can't just discount the investment into the 300 some odd pylon or 300 minerals that went into this attack. But not only did he get a ton of probe kills, but during all that, the probes weren't even able to mine. So Razz is just behind an incredible amount that isn't even totally reflected by the differential in the probe count.
Now, one thing you can do, like, if there hadn't been mana pylons, then I think Razz would have been okay, because he showed some good micro, and he was shield battering his probes a lot and stuff. But so, how do you prevent mana pylons? And you can actually build a pylon between your Nexus and the mineral line to block the mana pylon placement.
Yeah, because then they don't have enough room to stick it down there, right?
So, if you're a product user watching, that's definitely something to consider using. It doesn't really slow down your own mining a lot either.
Man, that was like the slickest probe. There's a zealot after him. He's like, I'm gonna go through the mineral line. You'll never get me. Razz with the shield battery micro, still keeping his probes alive though.
There's still a mana pylon, dude. Messing up mining.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah. I think, you know, a lot of times we say people have the right idea, but not the execution. Here, I honestly think he had the execution, but not the idea.
Yeah, I mean, because you're right, the counter micro is pretty good. He was using the probes to mess up the zealot micro for JayStar. Like the initial couple of zealots were really not effective at being able to get in there and do a lot of damage, but he just did the mana pylons. They were like almost better than the zealots for quite a while there. They limited so much mining.
Yeah. I think if he hadn't made an assimilator and instead had made an anti-mana pylon, that would have been way better.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny that you say that too, because when you think about it, it's like, oh, I just made an assimilator. Like, how is that a big mistake? But really, it's a huge amount of money in this very low economy situation.
Yeah, I actually got knocked out of BSL at one time for making a refinery. So, you know, when Protoss comes into your base, and Terran is like, they take the refinery fast, like they cancel a civis and get the refinery, right? Well, if you do that before you started your barracks, and there's a proxy gate, then you actually just die. So at that point, I was like, oh, okay. I see, you cannot actually take the refinery that early. You gotta let them steal it. You know, and in the same way as Protoss, sometimes you have to just not take your assimilator that early.
All right, well, the last hurrah as the boys join the fight here. Probe's good unit, but not good enough to fight a small Protoss army like this, unfortunately. So Razz going to be taken out in this game, unfortunately, and that means JayStar is going to head out of this with a 2-0.
Yeah, I really think Razz hasn't faced this before, to be honest. Because it looked like an experience to me.
That was a crazy game. I can't imagine, though, an experienced Protoss player has never played against this, but yeah, certainly not the level of execution that JayStar is able to pull it off. And you know, it's just who's more comfortable, the aggressor or the defender, with the strategies that are going on in it. JayStar very clearly has made many people on the ladder very upset with this build, because that was very cleanly executed by him.
So he's gonna face DeWalt now. First map's gonna be Vermeer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that. Imagine winning a series and feeling really good, and then just going, oh, you know what? I forgot.
Yeah.
Gotta play DeWalt. So that's gotta be a bit of a feels bad, man. You know, but hey, hopefully JayStar can find something creative to throw DeWalt off or something like that. But I as unbiased as I want to be, like, DeWalt is just a machine, and I don't know if JayStar has the mechanics to play him in a normal game. So I really feel like we're going to see a bunch of very strange things happen in this next series.
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna take a short break actually. First.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and head on over the break, guys, and then we'll go back here in just a little bit to get you guys some more games.
Okay, welcome back to the BSL. We're about to continue now with some DeWalt versus JayStar action.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. And you can just before we get started here, just wanted to point out my dramatic wardrobe change that you can see. I'm actually wearing my BSL hoodie, so check that out, guys. Check it out. It says Bombastic StarLeague right there, embroidered on. This is actually, I have to say, like one of my favorite hoodies that I own. I have two, and they are both super comfortable.
Yeah.
Do you have a BSL hoodie?
I don't have a hoodie. I mean, I'm subscribed. I'm part of the Patreon, patreon.com/Bombastic StarLeague, I think, or something. But I do not have a hoodie now. Trying to do my part in saving BroodWar, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Especially since Zero has been making an effort to do BSL full time. I would definitely recommend, if you guys haven't taken the time to check out the BSL shop, or consider becoming a patron, even just subscribing on Twitch, something like that would be a really great way to help out and continue to support Zero and the great BSL in general. This is like clearly the big foreigner tournament that really keeps us all going all year. So if you guys have the financial capability, of course, please consider subscribing or checking out the Patreon, or again, just purchase something like one of these really cozy sweaters. Because personally, if I was you, I would at least get a hoodie because they're super comfortable.
Yeah, we have that goal, to make BSL17. It would be epic if we could do it. So definitely highly recommend it if you're a StarCraft enjoyer.
And if you're not, what are you doing here, man? What's going on with your life? You're just punishing yourself? You're not a StarCraft enjoyer, and yet you're tuning in to BSL? What's wrong with you, buddy?
When there are tournaments, people practice more and get better. That's how DeWalt got so good, Bonnet too. And he's been beating a lot of Koreans recently. But now he's trying to beat this Chinese guy called JayStar, right? So we're gonna see how that goes. What's the first map? It's Vermeer, okay. Right, yeah, it's Vermeer at this stage.
Alrighty, guys. Well, it sounds like we are ready. We're gonna head right on into the games here. Here we go.
Okay, so cross spawn once again. And last time we saw DeWalt play cross spawn against Zhanhun, he dominated, dude. He lost the series, but he really dominated that game. He just had way better tactics, way better movement, way better micro execution, denying vision from his opponent, getting his own vision. So cross spawn on a map like this seems good for him,
Oh yeah, I mean, out of the two, he's certainly the more risk averse type of player here. But I gotta say, like, I feel kind of bad for JayStar. Well, this is maybe worst case scenario for game number one for him.
Yeah.
Unless he's turtling to carriers again, in which case this might be a good thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he could pick Odyssey, right? If he loses, like, it's loser pick. So, I mean, he could theoretically pick that map again. Although, it strikes me as a little bit of a throwing in the towel move, where you go 1 base, 3 Stargate carrier. That's like, okay, I don't know what to do in this map. It's too weird, so I'm just gonna do a Hail Mary, right? Like, it didn't seem...
weakness. He's like showing his teeth as a chimpanzee. He's just like, don't hurt me, use DeWalt.
Yeah, I mean, like, it didn't seem like a prepared killer build. DeWalt's, by the way, scouting early, so this seems to be like an anti-JayStar thing, right? And given what JayStar did to Razz, I think that might be a good idea.
Alrighty.
JayStar scouting a little bit later on a simulator instead of on gateway. And no gas for DeWalt. Is this going to be like a 1-gate gasless expansion? Can you do that, dude?
Cool. You're asking the wrong guy. But
yeah, looks like it.
Anyone could. I feel like DeWalt's got mechanics for it. But
so, wow. Yeah, speaking of doing a build your opponent isn't comfortable with, but some people will actually do builds that have holes in them because they know what the opponent doesn't know about the holes. And okay, proxy pylon here for JayStar.
I was gonna say this is almost, I don't want to say disrespectful, but like disregarding of JayStar's general playstyle here. And I would imagine a player who is as serious about winning as DeWalt always is, that DeWalt would be aware of that kind of like proprietary playstyle that JayStar has. So it is a little confusing to me that he would do something so interesting, I guess.
DeWalt actually took his assimilator, but he just took it kind of late.
Yeah, just very late.
When a Terran does this, it's because his SCV gets to harvest more resources before building his structures. You get more cash. But Protoss doesn't have that problem, so he's just kind of doing it late. I'm not sure why, but he's gonna come in here anyway with the Zealot and the Probe combo, and it looks like JayStar actually skipped Zealot because he's going for mega fast DT.
Well, we're gonna see that there's no there's no tech here, missing a pylon.
Missing range. Okay, range starts now. +1 air, actually.
Yeah. DeWalt should definitely know what's up, though. Like, clearly that was not a normal timing for that. Oh, he doesn't get to see it get canceled, but that would have been pretty nice. But Templar Archive's already on the way here.
He doesn't send in Zealot, which is interesting. Usually people try to pick off some probes, but he wants to counterattack with that. Like, he might be thinking, okay, like, one build people do sometimes is they just go straight Goon and they flood. And so, yeah, he wants to counterattack, exactly. He was expecting the Dragoon to go out.
Pretty cute.
And he comes out. Now, when you see this, you gotta be like, dude, something's missing. And, yeah, there's no spinning core even, so he should get, like, some detection right now.
Looks like we have a pylon at the low ground here, so gonna be going for a forge. And if those cannons get up...
Very good. I think he's gonna have this in time. Maybe? Honestly, I'm not sure. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, he's gonna need a couple of them, probably, and to block the ramp, maybe, if the GT gets down here, but I think it should be fine.
Yeah, cannons actually warp in quite quickly, so I think he will be fine. And then he's just gonna have a massive advantage.
They die so fast when they're warping in, it's insane. Like, they're so easy to kill.
They die faster than Warcraft 3 buildings that are being built. Like, they actually die so fast. The one thing that could happen here that could go wrong is, if there's like a Dragoon counterattack to cancel the cannons, that could really kill him. And we see JayStar going for that right now, actually. I don't know why DeWalt is like counterattacking with these Dragoons. Like, surely he just has to survive to win. But looks like he's not going to survive. He needed all the units at home blocking the ramp. Okay, he's got a cannon in the main too. Alright.
Oh man, this might have been be a little bit of a bungle here.
Oh dude!
Cannon at the front survives!
He could have, if he had not sent the DT in, he could have destroyed the cannon.
Wow.
But he had to go in because he thought there wouldn't be a cannon in the main, so he was going for the knockout. And this Dragoon counterattack, a very risky play, but it ended up paying off for DeWalt.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so a little unfortunate that cannon was literally one hit away from dying, because now the DT gets to walk in here again. But I mean, you know, things not catastrophic. Cannons are down in the main here. 3 cannons is a lot, unfortunately, to have to invest into this. But it's not like the game is, you know, it was very on a knife's edge there for a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting the natural now is going to take forever though, because there's no robo. And how do you get a probe down there to get a cannon up? You're gonna have to sneak it or something. Hopefully there's like a misstep by JayStar, but I would be very surprised if JayStar let that DT die anytime soon.
Yeah, this DT's not gonna die, and he's gonna have to get an observer before really taking an expansion. So, very strange decision to not just go all in on taking the expo, but instead to counterattack. But he did take out several probes with the counterattack, so it was an okay choice after all, I suppose. And with this observer coming out, he's gonna have a pretty sick Dragoon timing. Unless it runs into the triple gate that JayStar's going for. Yeah, I really think DeWalt's advantage right now is still economy. Even though he didn't get this expansion, he still has more probes.
Yeah. And to be fair, once the robo is up and running, you know, JayStar hasn't taken the opportunity to take his natural expansion. He's been really going kind of hard in the paint right now, trying to do damage. And that is going to kind of bite him in the ass a little bit, because once the robo is out and the obs is out and the reavers are getting on the way and all that, these are going to be pretty useless DTs. I don't think that DeWalt is really going to leave anything, you know, up to chance as far as letting a drop get in or something like that. it's gonna take forever for JayStar to have any kind of advantage once the ball gets rolling here at the net.
Yeah, you're completely right about that. Like, if he had gone for DT expansion and then have Storm in time for, like, Storm and Cannons in time for their Reaver timing, maybe. I'm not sure if that would have worked, like, maybe he didn't have enough time, but this DT Dragoon mass is gonna be pretty vulnerable to a Reaver timing if DeWalt chooses to go for it, but it looks like he's choosing instead to just expand. Which is also a valid choice right here, and then just get his own temper attack. And play from there. So he's not going to lose this expansion most likely, although this DT Dragoon
They do a lot of damage.
might deny this expansion for now. Oh, he's going for his own DTs. Yeah, the classic. Counter DTs with DTs, of course, because you know the opponent doesn't have detection, right? So DeWalt's going for a DT expansion of his own now.
Yeah, question is, will the army do enough damage here that they can press into the main and find that tempo archives in the bottom left?
There are just so many cannons right now, and the DTs come out.
Here they go!
While they're defending. Okay, one goes to defend, one goes straight for the enemy.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea. You really don't need that many DTs to deal with it, and so JayStar is going to know now, of course, that he needs to block his ramp and desperately tech up to some kind of detection. But all of a sudden, the DTer has become the DTE, and he doesn't have a natural. Like, where's the natural?
Yeah, JayStar really not feeling confident, it seems. Like, really feeling like he needs to catch the DeWalt off guard. That's the way he's playing. Like, that's the body language I'm sensing from him right here.
This is crazy. JayStar goes carrier, loses to his own carriers. This game, JayStar goes DT, loses to DT. It's like this man is like has been signed up for the most cosmic punishment.
Yeah, we might have to rename DeWalt Mirror Toss, given how he's winning these mirror matches. So right now, even if he doesn't kill his opponent, which he probably will, to be fair, he has an expansion up, you know? He's just so far ahead. He might actually get this cannon, or just run past.
Oh, there's two of them. Yeah. It is no. Oh no, there's no detection in the mineral line.
Rough.
Jeez, what a game, dude. That was, yeah, rough is definitely the word there. DeWalt was like, I'm rubber and you're glue, dude. You know? So, unfortunately, the DTs come back to bite him in the butt there a little bit. JayStar, a little unfortunate there. I just don't know what the follow plan was. Like, he was like, oh, yeah, I got the bust going. I can definitely deal, you know, I could just push in here and win. But, like, clearly there's like 2-3 cannons in the main. I do not think that was the right decision. He had plenty of time. DeWalt took a very long time to get a robo because he decided to opt for the Forge first, you know? I just felt like there were so many times in which JayStar could have just made a different decision. The game would have been completely different. But that's DeWalt for you, man. He's got no holes, you know?
Yeah, he really doesn't have a big weakness to exploit. He's really good at hiding units and then scouting with them, by the way. He did that against Zhanhun too.
Yeah, he doesn't miss a beat, man. If there's an advantage to find, he grabs it. It's just, he's too good. So with that, DeWalt goes up and destroys JayStar, and what looked to be a very, very one-sided game here. And I honestly don't expect to see too much difference in game number 2.
JayStar gets to pick the map. Let's go into the next game, if we're ready.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to Butter.
So, we've seen a pretty insane proxy gate. I think if he goes for that against DeWalt probably knows how to deal with it, because he used to play a lot against Koreans, as you do when you get like 2400 plus, right? And the Koreans, when it lags, they just don't want to play a game, so they go for a lot of stuff like that.
Once again!
He's doing it again, that's why I picked this map. And so, like, stuff like this is what you end up facing on the ladder when you get 2400, 2300 plus, right? Which DeWalt has experienced. Because the Koreans just want to get you out of the way, right? So they do stuff like this all the time. So I think he's very experienced at this, at dealing with it.
I swear, though, this is a bold decision. There may be, oh my god, he's just putting it right at the front. There may be players that you want to do this against. I don't think DeWalt is one of them, man. DeWalt, this is like trying to sucker punch like The Rock, man. Like, I feel like he's gonna hurt his fist. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Alright, so will he scout or not? I mean, if he doesn't scout at all, if he's that confident, this could work. And so far he's not scouting. No, he has same timing as before. Okay, so it's a gateway scout, and he's going to see this now. And what will he do? Will he
Win,
throw out a second
probably.
gateway?
Let's
Probably,
be
right?
honest. The question is, do 3 mana pylons get up in the mineral line this time? Oh, there's one!
Yeah, so DeWalt does not go for an anti-mana pylon. He just builds a normal pylon instead. And gets mana pylon because of it.
Unfortunately, I don't know if DeWalt has had the benefit of seeing the games that just happened before he got to play this, right? Like, there's no way he got...
Yeah, I don't think so.
No one slid him the replay, so we may be... Oh my god, it's happening!
I mean, I really think an anti-mana pylon is worth it.
I'm having
know?
PTSD right now, dude.
But at least he didn't make an assimilator, right? So there's that.
Significant amount of additional money here. I think Razz was so unable to mine, like he had to cut probes in order to keep producing zealots.
Yeah. So she's
look at that.
going up now.
Both of these pylons are going to be done before the zealot really even gets him in the mineral line this time. The difference in execution here has been pretty astounding so far, and yeah, that assimilator really seemed to have bit.
Oh, he's gonna trap this.
Razz's butt here.
Okay, wow. Oh, dude! He traps it. Warcraft 3 gaming. Okay, it gets out, but still a lot of damage. Now, apparently I was wrong about the anti-mana pylon because he didn't even need it. And if you don't need it, it's better not to have it.
It is DeWalt.
0 probes lost so far, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like DeWalt's doesn't even care. He's checking his stock portfolio right now.
Yeah.
He's making dinner for the wife and kids.
Very relaxed right now.
He's playing on a laptop on the treadmill.
He's getting so many free hits.
Yeah, it's insane.
Zealots.
JayStar hasn't even been able to attack basically.
And he's counterattacking with the Zealot, right?
Oh my god.
Oh,
The cheeser has become the cheesy. The mirror toss once again turns the tables.
He's
Oh
gonna
my
skip up
god.
this core. Now, the tech is slightly faster for JayStar, but the problem is he's got this exposed infrastructure, so he's gonna lose a pylon and a gateway. And that's gonna be DeWalt's advantage.
I feel like being DeWalt is also DeWalt's advantage, to be fair.
Yeah, it is, it is. That's a pretty good advantage for sure. Yeah, so we can see now JayStar is actually side-blocked because he just lost that pylon. He cannot make units. So from now on, I guess it's gonna be like a standard game with a slight advantage to DeWalt. Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, certainly no incredibly catastrophic things happening here. But I don't know if I mean, would you really say that slight? I guess it's not that crazy. JayStar didn't lose all his zealots or anything like that, so Zealotcan's fairly healthy. You know, he invested a little bit. The mana pylons were certainly expensive, but mana pylons do kind of do their thing as far as just disrupting the mining as well. So they pay for themselves a little bit more than it seems like they would. And yeah, we're heading on into this now, and JayStar is just going to be going against a monster.
Yeah. He's gonna lose a Zealot though, so giving more of an advantage to DeWalt. And he's not gonna get a probe again. That shield battery really paid off. Okay, going for DTs again is JayStar. I don't know. It seems a bit desperate.
It doesn't feel confident, that's for sure.
So we're gonna have to see what. Yep, go on.
I was just gonna say, JayStar is a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's gone up against DeWalt. It's just, I think that there seems to be some kind of mental aspect going on here. But he does find a little damage on this Dragoon, and that is a nice little advantage here.
Yeah, good ambush right there for sure. Probe. Oh, actually Zealot this time, getting in to scout. And if he sees the Citadel again, dude, that's actually a really big deal.
This is crazy. How does he get in here? Oh, he's going up though. He's not gonna see it.
Yeah, he's trying to zone him out, and he might deny the vision.
DeWalt with the Star Sense! He sees it!
Oh my god, dude!
Very
What
nice.
the hell?
So what does it go for now? Probably just an observer expansion or something, right? Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Disgusting. It's like, it's crazy. It's like anyone you put up against DeWalt, you know? It's like JayStar could be like Chuck Liddell or one of these like gigantic guys, but DeWalt's just like a dude with like a pistol. So like it doesn't matter how big you are, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, DeWalt's actually attacking. He wants like the pre-DT timing even. I mean, why not? He does have more dragoons. So he's expanding and attacking, and just winning on both fronts.
It's like even if he lost here, he's still gonna build a counter him now. So it's just kind of like okay.
DT, like it's desperate, man.
It's just leaving. What's happening? JayStar, you need probes. Okay, the second one's out now. I was gonna say.
Wow. Again with like the dragoon counterattack against DTs to destroy probes.
Yeah, this is, and as much damage as DTs do, I mean, dragoons are just giant tanky boys. They take a long time to kill, and he's just focusing down these probes.
He's still destroying probes, dude. And of course he has the observer at home, so it's ready.
He's a casual 20 probes at home plus a base ahead.
Yeah. Observer's gonna pop, and that's gonna be it. It's gonna have to be.
Jump scare observer here. See, DT did even the probes come here to trap him. Oh,
Very nice.
It's too clean.
The follow-up now is 4-gate goon, but the Wolf also has 4 gateways. Except he doesn't have 13 probes, he's got 35.
Is that a? Would you say that's a significant number of additional probes, or, I mean, is this gonna matter? Is this gonna factor in?
That as significant, yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm new to the. You know, I don't really. I'm a League of Legends player. Okay, so like I don't.
Okay. Well, this is basically like having, like, a full item, like 2 full items of your.
Okay,
so 2 finished items.
I got you. That makes sense.
More or less like that.
Those are terms that I can understand.
You're like up a level 2 items or something.
Oh my god. So he's doomed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Would you say? Oh my gosh, that's just great, dude. It's crazy how fast the probe count is continuing to expand due to the additional methods too. 41 to 16 is just ridiculous.
More than twice, like more than 3 times even. I mean, it's like, okay, not more than 3 times. I mean, it's a lot more. Basically.
Yeah, this is like a Leonardo DiCaprio number difference. You know what I mean?
I don't know what that means, but...
Have you seen his... Dude, he's almost 50 and he's dating a 19-year-old.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool. I was not aware of his... Anyway, good game. Well played. Dude, I gotta say, like, DeWalt's scouting and the cleverness that he uses to scout is really good here.
God, DeWalt is just... He's on another level, man. It's not fair. We sent DeWalt... Or we sent JayStar in there. It was like we were sending like an infant to go fight a lion. I feel so bad almost. Like that was so crazy. Like DeWalt had all the information the entire time. JayStar was trying to throw some kind of monkey wrench into the gears to mess up DeWalt, but there's no holes to be found. Like, how do you throw a monkey wrench into a brick wall? There's no holes, dude.
That looked like a Korean playing a foreigner.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It was disgusting. It looked like a, you know what it looked like? It looked like every time that I play against G5. That's what it looked like.
G5, yeah.
It's not even fun. He'll go, I'll play easy on you. I won't use my keyboard. And then he'll still just destroy me. It's just not, it's ridiculous. But unfortunately, it looked like JayStar didn't have a shot going into this one with the way that the games turned out. I'm sure maybe there's a scenario in which JayStar takes a game, but man, we would have to see quite the long series for DeWalt, loses to those type of shenanigans. So, as expected, although a little less expected, we do have DeWalt and Zhanhun moving out of the group here, but with DeWalt coming out of the loser side of the bracket, right. So a bit of a surprise today. But
surprise.
Yeah. Even still, though, I think that was our prediction before when we were going to this. I'm not sure too many people are surprised about the results of this group. All things being equal, though, well played by everybody.
very happy to see the games here, but that looks like it's going to be all for the all P all day cast today.
Yeah, DeWalt and Zhanhun. Now, funnily enough, since DeWalt advanced through the losers bracket, it means that somebody else who wins his group is going to have to face DeWalt as a quote-unquote reward for doing well and getting seeded better, right? Potentially. Which is like, not really most people's idea of a reward, but...
Yeah, could you imagine coming out of first and be like, yes! Yes, I get to go get somebody came out of the losers bracket, and then you're like, oh god.
Yeah. So, but yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah, I feel like someone needs to. I feel like that guy needs to get like a coupon or something, like some kind of consolation prize.
Well, these things happen. I gotta say though, like he was really. I gotta say, Razz put up some good fights, and then I gotta say that even though DeWalt lost the set in the one straight up game, he really outplayed Zhanhun.
Yeah, guys. Well, thank you so much once again for showing up for the cast. Before we go, we do need to acknowledge our lovely, wonderful supporters here, guys.
Indeed.
You guys have all been showing Zero a whole lot of love. We really appreciate it. Remember that Zero is doing this full time now, and we really, really need to keep supporting these foreign StarCraft tournaments because it's so important to the competitors. If you guys still love StarCraft and you want to see it keep coming, please consider joining our Patreon or making a contribution via donations or however you think that is best. We'd really appreciate it. But let's go ahead and read out our supporters real quick here. And of course, our number one bombastic general, Mr. Star Lover himself. Thank you so much once again for being our bombastic general. This guy has been supporting BSL for super long. And then moving on to our $50 a month supporters, we have Striker, Believe in Zero. Who is? I wonder who that really is, because that's a great ID.
Got some
we have
names here.
My Fleeting Dream, of course, Veer Rev, who also helps out with a lot of casting and stuff in general, and Hash Fuzzy. Thank you for that. And then at $30 a month, we have Tim, Cause, Tupocalypse, Robert Groot, and Niantic. Unfortunately, not Niantic, the giant ARG game company, because that would be pretty sweet if we had a giant corporate sponsor like that. But still, thank you guys so much. And so many more people here at $20 a month. We have Surikata, On My Way, Gordon, Bradley, KJ, Daniel Lopez, LML, of course, Machine, and Quark. And then just an enormous list of people going down the lines at these other tiers as well. So we want to say thank you to everybody who's made contributions and helped support us. Thank you. I saw some gifted subs in the chat as well, so thank you for that. And we have, of course, tons of other people here at the top of the list with some absurd amounts of donations. CRVT being just a crazy man here at $2,000 and My Fleeting Dream $1,500. And Pure Pat making his way up to that $1,000 number here. Same with Quark. Like, you guys are insane. So thank you all so much for coming out here and supporting us at the BSL. And I hope that everyone enjoyed the cast.
So next week we actually have Bonif playing Mihu and Terror. That's gonna be a pretty sick group, actually. LC. Okay, so literally check this group out. Mihu, bam, already. Okay, the bar is high. Bonif, Terror, and a guy called LCYDH, which not many people know of, but he's actually sick. I've seen him play. He's a Chinese product user. Who could easily take a game off Bonif. Like, he could actually advance from the group. Like, all of those four could advance right there.
No way. There's no way. Are you...
Yeah, I'm not making this up, dude.
Wow.
Like, he's actually really strong.
So Group C, actual confirmed group of death. Until then, we look at Group D, also group of death.
Yeah, Shiki, Ultra, Boa, Kaogege, also gonna be pretty sick. But next group is gonna be Group C, which is gonna be February 11th. So 1 week from now. And yeah, make sure to tune in then if you want to see some insane TVP action.
Alrighty, guys. Well, that's going to be it for Sunday. I hope you guys have a good, productive week. And then check us out next weekend. Clearly, like, there's just going to be insane games all weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. So please tune into that. Literally, truly, like, the best players in the foreign scene coming out next weekend as well. So until then, guys, I have had a great time casting for you today. And thank you so much for joining me, vOddy. It's been really, really fun. I have never gotten to cast with you before, so it's been a blast.
First time for me. Obviously, I have never casted with you either. I haven't like snuck in while you're sleeping and done it. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a good time, guys. Well, everyone have a good weekend and take care of yourself. Be safe, and we'll see you next weekend.
Yes, thank you very much. Good games.